Hi, everyone, and welcome to a special Wrestling RHAPup podcast. It's called Wrestling with BB23, a Big Brother cast assessment. With me, as always, my tag team partner, Matt Scott.
Woo! Happy to be here. Happy to be diving into BB23. I think I don't know if we're going off the rails with this one, but I think we're going off the rails with this one.
And rightfully so. And with full smiles, so. Just going off the rail. It's time to get motivational. Ooh. Mr. PVZ himself, aka Pooya. Pooya is with us today. How you doing, Pooya?
I'm doing really good. You said off the rails. Ooh. Honestly, this is the equivalent of Hornswoggle entering the Royal Rumble. When Big Brother gets in mixed with wrestling, it's like, what? Big Brother's already weird, like, and doesn't make any sense and is ridiculous and is taken way too seriously. And then here comes the anonymous Raw GM, like just about to be in the Royal Rumble for no reason. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to have been asked to do this. This is going to be easily the weirdest thing I've done. So weird. That's Big Brother, but I can't wait.
Yes, and the library is open. The librarian is here. Stella, excuse you, is in the building, aka Grace. Grace, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here. I mean, I feel like Big Brother got ahead of the game in terms of casting professional wrestlers on their show. So I feel like this is only fitting. Yeah.
Yes, Austin was previously in the house. He is now a wrestling dinosaur. So I mean,
he is.
That's true. Well, Mr. Right? Spectacular.
Of course, Mr. Spectacular. He's in ROH right now, if I remember correctly. So yes, and if you are a fan of the Wrestling RHAP, you will know that I introduced them by their character names. If not, feel free to go and check us out wherever you listen to your podcast. Our season 1 platform. We had the pleasure of having both Grace and Pooya, and hopefully they'll make an appearance for season 2 as well. But here we are today. Mm-hmm. We're here to talk Big Brother, if you're nasty. Season 23, the cast just dropped, and we had to just come on. We had to do something fun. All we have right now are their pictures and a few words on their bios, but that's not going to stop us. We're, of course, going to make this the biggest thing we possibly can. And how else are we going to do that but to assign each cast member a wrestler? Matt,
yes.
Why are we doing
this? Well, essentially, the way I like to think of it, it's kind of, if anyone remembers WrestleMania 2000 for the wrestling fans, there was a McMahon in every corner. Stephanie McMahon, Shane McMahon, Linda McMahon was there, I think in a wheelchair at the time. Vince was there. Well, that's basically what we're doing. We're giving each of these cast members a proxy who will compete for them in a battle royal taking place in the game WWE 2K20. I just started to play that game especially for this podcast, just to give you the satisfaction of seeing pro wrestlers compete for these cast members who we're soon going to get to know. So how that's going to work is because, well, WWE games do not, at least these days, allow intergender wrestling. We're going to have one battle royal for the women. We're going to have one for the men. And we're basically, Mari, I think it's fair to call them our Wrestling RHAPup winner picks. Like maybe not our personal ones,
not our personal picks, but
no, probably not.
Yeah, maybe. For all the patrons who are listening, it's just like kind of like the Brent Steals, kind of like the Brent Steals that they do for the patrons.
What a callback.
But yeah, I know, right? Well, they still do them, I think.
I mean,
so, but instead of this simulated Brent Steal, they're going to be wrestlers. They're going to do a battle royal. They'll be sending people over the top rope, and we'll assign a wrestler. And then on this week's episode of the Wrestling RHAPup, you got to come back, and that's when you'll be able to see the simulation and see who won. So other than that, we are just going to have fun here. Pooya, you did a great job on your stream earlier today talking about the cast. What are you looking forward to here?
Here, like on this podcast?
Oh, of course.
I'm here. I can't wait. So the fact of the matter is, I have been blessed in my ears by listening to all three of you talk about shows, debate, and now I get to debate with the three of you as a group of 4. We're going to look at these people, and I can't wait to see if I agree with your takes or not, and who should be who. I know that the last time I was here, I did not agree with Matt's creation of me and my persona. Matt's on redemption tour with me as far as I'm concerned. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. I'm just here for goofiness.
Yeah. Total
Great.
goofiness.
Are you ready for the goofiness?
Hopefully.
100%. Yeah. Always.
Yes.
The goofiness, that's the best part. A Big Brother for sure. It's like, this is, I feel like Survivor has a bit more of the seriousness edge, to it takes itself seriously, and then Big Brother is just total goofiness from the moment it starts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More goofy than pro wrestling, you think?
Wrestling probably tries to take itself too seriously. I feel like Big Brother knows what it is a little bit more than I think wrestling does sometimes.
Fair.
Yeah, exactly. So like we said, we're just going to have fun. We're going to start off. Matt, can you pull up, if you're watching us, we're going to be on YouTube. You can go to the YouTube link. You can see we're going to pull up the pictures of the cast. We're going to talk about them in terms of wrestling. So the first person we are going to do is Aza from Baltimore. Yeah, Aza. Okay, she's from Baltimore, right? Direct sales. Okay. What?
All of the things. I thought you were trying to make a point about her being from Baltimore. I was like,
keep going. This is what happens. But yeah, so like I really liked her bio. We read their bios beforehand, and we're just going off gut feelings from what they talked about. And she is clearly a huge fan. She referenced June and Allison from BB4 and said Keisha's birthday is her favorite moment. So I mean, come on, like. What? Love her already. Pooya, what do you think?
10 out of 10. I mean, to me, Aza is one of the people, because there's quite a few people that I think are fans. It seems more leaning towards the fans, but Aza did not hide away behind the main, like, the Mount Rushmore of Dan's funeral as like my favorite moment. There was definitely a lot more references that I appreciated, more nods. Definitely, Aza comes in and is we know how the Big Brother house is. Aza is, I believe, 30, and I think is the third oldest house guest after Frenchie was 34, and I think Tiffany is 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the age she's in with this group, kind of like in the middle. When I saw Aza's picture first, I was excited. Then I read Aza's bio, and I was completely sold. I was very, very happy. I cannot wait to see her in the house.
Grace, we haven't heard your thoughts. I know I was glued to Pooya's stream. So what are your thoughts on Aza?
Yeah, same. I think I'm very excited. I mean, I think it's really where I think Twitter was abuzz at all this, like the old school callbacks, some early season shout outs from Aza, which I think there are a few in there who I think know their Big Brother history, but I think Aza is certainly one of the ones that I think people are very excited about. And I think rightfully so. It seems like she could have an edge going into the Big Brother house. So I'm excited.
What I don't know if my eyes were tricking me earlier. I have in my notes that she has 300 plus cousins. We could confirm.
Yep, that is a confirmation.
And so she's the one whose grandfather. I love how she explained it. She was like, "Yeah, so my grandfather had 6 wives and 47 kids," and I don't think I have questions. I'm glad that she explained that so we could hopefully move on from it and look back at her as the winner and be like, remember that funny story that she included in her bio? Great. Her 300 cousins are probably very proud. I want her to do so well. I am nervous for her, mostly just based on like PTSD of Black women in BB. But I want to actually be part of one of those watch parties with her cousins. Hopefully a ton of them are in Baltimore, not too far away for us, Mari.
Isn't that the twist this year? Everybody is one of Oz's cousins, right? That's the twist this year. They're all just cousins.
They're all related. I mean, it's
no showmances.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, that is so much family. I don't even know if I could keep up. And then, God forbid, if she wins, she better like disconnect her phone, because if it was me, I'd be like, none of y'all are hitting me up for money. Not a single one of you.
Yeah. What's the math? 500,000 divided by 300, because that's exactly what's going to happen.
Oh my gosh.
Not great.
That's like if you win the lottery and then you like hope they don't have to show your face for you to claim it, because my family's crazy. So I don't know about her family, but I would never let them know I came up in some money. So I mean, off the bat, good vibes from her. Like Matt said, you know, going into a BB season, you're very guarded when it comes to Black women and the show. But I feel like this is casting a Black woman who's a true super fan. This is great. This is like a step in the right direction because I don't think we had too many of them. So definitely excited about her. Let's get into some wrestling comparisons. Matt, do you want to go first?
So I was picking up on, she mentioned being charismatic, crafty, clumsy. She mentioned the family. And so my mind went to wrestling legacies. And, you know, I was thinking, is she a Stephanie McMahon? No. Is she a Tamina? We could do better than that. Mm-hmm. Nia Jax is the person who I would tie her with, because there was the whole incident earlier this year. For those familiar, Nia did break her hole, and that's a clumsy thing to do. And she also has a ton of family: The Rock, Roman Reigns. The list goes on and on. So I'm sticking with Nia Jax. Ding, locking it in.
I like that. I would not have thought of that. So that's good. Pooya, how about you?
I wish I would have had that family connection thing. No, I went with very easy phrase. 2 words, legit boss. I put down Sasha Banks.
Sasha
I was like, she is like, to me, Aza will definitely be my top go for almost any draft I'm in, easily. So I want top of the food chain. I want number 1, and the number 1 seat to me would be Sasha Banks. That's where I went.
I will say, just to comment on that I wanted Sasha Banks in my picks, couldn't figure out how to include her. This is it. You know, I love that.
That's the only place to go. Yeah.
So, well, I'm gonna go if you don't mind, Grace.
Yeah.
I went with Naomi because she talked about hair love in her bio. She talked about she needs her Afro pick because you know, Fro is life. So that's very like giving me Naomi's aesthetic. And I think I saw somewhere she is clumsy. I can't remember if she was like a dancer or anything like that, but she loves to cook. I was getting Naomi vibes. I was getting like introverted, glow queen with the hair. I was giving Naomi. So I think honestly she can be any of these. Grace, I mean, this puts you where are you
might
going?
be the tiebreaker.
No, you
might be the tiebreaker.
I think those are all really good calls. The only thing, this is the furthest reach I think I'll have all day, which is she said she's good at musical chairs, and the only thing I could think about musical chairs was in the game there's Molly Holly whose finisher is called the Molly Go Round, and I was like, that's sort of similar. You know, musical chairs, a Molly go round, you know, a merry go round. But I think your connections might be a little bit stronger than that.
Yeah, a tad bit. So on the very first cast member, we're gonna have to come up with a way to break this. So where are we going?
Okay,
so to switch sides.
I want to put a counter on yours. So Naomi, I think, is a great pick, but in block letters, under what is your strategy for winning the game, there is no showmances. Who's Naomi married to?
That's true.
Yeah.
So the greatest, like, yeah, I get it. I mean, that could have been the family aspect, but I get it.
Oh yeah.
True.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And then again, that also kind of takes out Nia Jax because she's in her relationship situationship with Reginald. So
yeah, true.
Yeah. So I really want to go. Sorry, Grace, but I really want to go with Sasha here.
I kind of do too, actually.
Yeah, Sasha's a great call.
Now that Pooya brought that up, I'm like, you're right. If we're gonna say she's the GOAT, if everybody is predicting that she's gonna go really high in a lot of these cash drafts, then might as well give her the GOAT. So I like this. So mark that down. We got Sasha Banks for Aza.
I think the other thing that's fitting is that like Sasha Banks notoriously has like never won at WrestleMania, right? I feel like everybody's gonna pick Aza to win her pick, and then their hearts will be broken. So it's a great call.
Sounds about right. It's locked in. Locked in.
I'm ready to be sad.
I wish you were wrong.
Sad now.
I mean, am I wrong? I mean,
you said it, so
I'll gladly be wrong at the end of the season.
But also, if you're right, then you're right, and that's the one thing that you could have satisfaction in. So,
okay,
rough times.
Well, Man, I'm mad we all just came right back down to earth with that. It's like so much truth. It's like, dang it.
Wow.
Okay, so next we're gonna move on. I don't know how I chose this order. I apologize, guys, but we're gonna go with Christian.
Oh.
There he is. There he is. He's 23 from Connecticut. Okay, his bio, I'm not gonna lie, it didn't really speak to me. Honestly. I don't think he's really a fan. We all pointed out the typo. He had the typo of saying that he liked how Jeff used a coup d'etat and got Jessica out as opposed to Jesse, Mr. Spectacular. And Pooya, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Sharon was in your chat and then she said she just copy and pasted it from him. So this wasn't an editorial typo. This is they were filling out these questions. They just copied and pasted. So, and this is not the only typo. He has 2 typos in his bio. So
no respect.
I'm getting
Grace, how do you feel about that as the resident librarian wrestler character?
Kick him out of the library. Get out of here.
Yeah, the library is closed.
And he just talked about all these like fun activities, like the disc golf. This is the other one, the disc golf, the mini golf, the fishing. He seems like very, with the typos, it came off very like a haphazard, like goofy things just happened to him. So for the person I went for Christian, for me personally, I put Kurt Hawkins. Kurt Hawkins. Think about it. He means well. He means well. He has, he has his heart in the right place, it seems, but he just cannot do anything right. So I am gonna go with I'm throwing Kurt Hawkins in the ring. Grace, how about you? Who you got for him?
I feel like that energy, like everything you described there, of just like this guy who like he makes spelling mistake, whatever. It's very Matt Riddle, I think.
That was my second choice. Yeah,
it's very Matt Riddle of just like whatever, who cares? Very like surfer bro dude energy. So I feel like Matt Riddle is the pick here.
Okay.
Ooh, Pooya, do you want to dive in with this one?
Matt Riddle was one that came to mind for me as well. However, I have Matt Riddle as someone else.
Me too.
Spoiler alert.
Me too. Exactly.
I'll talk about them when I get there. So for him, I was like, let me look under the hood with Christian, because also the bio didn't give me all that much. So Christian was an afterthought because Christian was not initially on this cast. There was someone else by the name of Garrett on the cast that got replaced by Christian. So Christian was an afterthought. So initially, he wasn't the number 1 pick. Then he comes in and he's the pick. He's kind of surferish, right? He's kind of a dodo. But then also, I think there's parts of him that is like, I'm charismatic. I've got all the things. I'm a mate. My motto makes no sense. Sometimes your ice pop falls on a penny. So I went with formerly known as Derrick Bateman. I went with EC3.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, because he's in the WWE roster, 2K20 roster, so it works.
Yes.
But I was like, I could maybe go there. Also the whole backdoor Jessica thing reminded me of, and you can tell when I was a big wrestling fan, this is when NXT was a reality show. And I remember Derrick Bateman called Ziggler Turd Ferguson. And that was the thing that stuck for like a minute. So I was like, spelling mistake. Let me go there. Okay.
Yeah.
This is really tough, actually, because I did. The problem is I had Riddle for like multiple people in my list, so I don't think I could go with Riddle for this one. I was thinking about AJ Styles because I felt like he had a period where his whole thing was like he was the face that runs the place. I think he was the champ that runs the camp, but there wasn't quite anything that was like the blouse that runs the house or something like that. And I just I don't feel like the contractor thing really shines through with AJ Styles. I thought of Christian kind of a goober. But you know what?
Christian, he in his bio, he says isolation from loved ones, and Christian's theme music for a while was Christian, at last you're on your own.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Christian for Christian because
it's great.
I mean, it's a 4-way. We have to figure out who's taking it again.
Yeah. I want to rule out Matt Riddle because I really think he'll fit another player better.
Multiple other players. This is basically like a half cast of
Mm-hmm.
Matt Riddles, unfortunately.
I know.
So.
And I think and again, like Pooya said, this bio doesn't give us much, maybe because he's the last minute replacement, but he talks about like Zach and Frankie. He likes them. It's a lot of I mean, he has to know something because he talked about the coup d'etat power, but I think we were discussing that they may have gotten 11, 14, 16, and 20 in isolation. So because that coup d'etat thing was referenced so many times in other people's bios.
Yeah.
So I don't see him as being a big fan. He's not coming off as overly like confident in himself. So I'm gonna stand behind mine. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with Kurt Hawkins, and I want people to come over here.
I'm just gonna I want to abandon Christian. I feel like that was kind of a weaker one. I want to go with EC3 on this one.
Dang it. Okay, it's cool.
Right. Then I'll hold because I was about to jump to Christian. So
I was going to jump to Christian. I was going to jump to Christian.
Well, okay, wait. Maybe we should. Okay,
everybody's jumping to Christian. That's fine.
I think we have this is Christian. Plus, Christian's a bigger star. We want Christian in the battle royal, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But EC3 is also, I don't know why Goober's on my mind, but pure Goober mode, which I don't mind.
And that's the only thing is because Christian is Captain Charisma, and I'm not getting it from this Christian.
This guy is super chuggy, as the kids would say.
What?
He's chuggy. He literally was like, "I love chicken and waffles."
Yeah,
I've had one girlfriend.
Chuggy recently.
Sometimes your ice pop falls on a penny. Like, okay,
a bucket hat is pretty chuggy. Talking about your cologne making you literally irresistible. Like, I immediately thought Sex Panther from Anchorman. He thinks he's the charisma. He might not be, but then we'll give him the Captain Charisma because it's it's good old fun.
Sure. I mean, Christian was Captain Charisma. It was always started as like he wasn't the most charismatic guy. Like that was sort of the joke because he was Captain Charisma because he was not. He was like, so
it works.
Yeah, I think it works.
He's gonna be like watching. You know what? I do feel like he might be like watching paint dry. I will say it. I think so, but he could prove us wrong. And we have it. So we have Sasha. We have Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts for this guy? Christian has Christian. Maybe that'll be confusing. That'll be easy to remember.
Yeah,
that will. Yeah, I have no other thoughts. I'm just very excited too because again, guys, we're just going off their bios and their pictures. I can't wait to hear them talk and interact with an interviewer. But I guess I was about to say, I guess this is a great time to pause after two people. But do you guys think that the live move-in is what's affecting also the cast interviews, why we probably won't get them, when we normally get them? Because I think they normally do it right before they move in, and then they normally move in a week before we actually get the show. So I'm wondering if the live move-ins are affecting when the interviews will happen.
Did we get videos last year?
I think I thought we did from the hotels, right? We didn't?
Well, no, not for all. We didn't get interviews. We got like hey, it's me, Kevin. I'm with my husband. They got that, but we didn't get like actual like sit down interviews with the cast members because
getting them because like with All Stars you can lean on them, where they come from, right? Because they didn't even promo them really. But with them, we need to know. Like we need to know we need to care. Like they want the casual audience to care about tuning in on Wednesday night. So I gotta imagine we'll get something. I think with the live, I'm assuming we get something start of the week, right? Like maybe on a Monday or something, or Tuesday perhaps.
Yeah, and I guess it just. But again, where are they sequestering them? Because it's not like they can put them do the diary room. They can't do the diary room interviews anymore because they're not in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder
when they did the Big Jeff interviews, they were in the diary room, right?
Yeah,
so they could sequester, and that's like before the game, so they could move them in and out. Maybe
they'll figure I mean, hopefully they figure that out.
Hopefully they sort it out because I would love some videos. I need to know what they sound like. Yeah. If
exactly.
Christian has like a really thick voice, that charisma might work. Like I might be like, yo, he's controlling the room right now. Like I'm into it. Okay, cool. So
right. I didn't go to see if he had a TikTok or an Instagram because again, he didn't really move me. So some of these people I did go and look at their social medias to get a vibe of them. He wasn't one of them. So maybe we'll see.
Pooya, by thick voice, do you mean like sometimes your ice pop falls on a penny, or like Jesus. What's the?
Yeah, like if he's
tone?
talking like this and the ice pop falls on the penny, then it's a little bit like, damn, he's controlling the room.
I cannot right now. I cannot.
That's exactly his voice.
Sometimes your ice pop falls on a penny.
I'm like, all right, Christian's out here like really confident. We'll see how it plays out.
We should have just guessed what their voices were going to sound like for an hour.
Oh my god, yeah, do a full prediction and impressions. We love it.
Oh my gosh. But the funny thing is, I think I just finally understood the whole ice pop falling on a penny. So I think it's the whole like, oh, you're enjoying your ice pop, and then dang, something bad happens. It fell, but look, it fell on a penny. It's good. Like
it's a silver lining.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, isn't it like if
I did not get that? I just understood that, and that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
no, is the penny heads up or tails up? Because if it's heads up, then it's good luck. But if it's tails up, then it's not good luck. I just don't think you want maybe it's like your ice pop falls on a penny and you're just glad that it didn't hit the ground. So then you pick it up and then you keep eating it.
No, that's even dirt, like a penny. I feel like I'm less likely to.
I wish it hit the floor.
Yeah.
I want it to fall on a 20. That's the only rectification of all of this.
It's not a great it's not a great quote. We should move on.
Next up.
All right, so I learned his voice because I found his TikTok.
Did I nail it? Did I get it right?
Yeah, I think he does not have the thick voice. But it's like in the middle. It's like a middle voice.
So again, we don't know. He could fade to the background, like Matt said. If one of y'all said.
He does have a very he has Grace. I think you kind of nailed it.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we have Hannah. She is 21 and she's a graduate student. So I liked her bio as well. But Pooya, what were your initial thoughts on Hannah?
So Hannah is going to be coming in as the youngest house guest this season at 21. And a very, very overachieving. She graduated at 19. So like she's not out here playing games. She's out here hitting goals, completing goals. So she's all about getting stuff done. And I love that, right? I love that quality. I didn't have that quality at all in my academic life. So I'm happy to see when someone else does. She is one of 2 Asian representations in the house. So, I got to be rooting for sure.
Of course.
But I will say, reading the bio, there's moments of it that get me worried because she's one of 2 people that I liked, but they wrote too much, in my opinion, in the bio. And that makes me nervous of like, you're saying too much. And the motto Hannah picked is never give up all your information. But I feel like I'm worried that she might give up a lot of her information. Like, I don't think she'd be able to hide her greatness, like her achievements. It doesn't seem like she's that type.
That's her life's motto. Never give up all your information.
Yep.
What has she been through? Like, were people trying to cheat on the test, like looking over her shoulder? Like, I don't know what experience she's pulling from, but I am judging a little bit. Like, it could be like live, laugh, love, not never give up all your information. It's really dark. I picture she probably has a very like deep, gritty voice with something like that.
Live, laugh, love, though, is that is the basic of the basics. No offense to anybody out there who has that tattooed on their bodies.
Okay, I don't have a tattoo on my body, but my mom got me a sign for Christmas, and so I do have to have it up on my wall. So I do have one up on my wall.
Requested, it's like it has to. It's somewhere. It's somebody's house.
Yeah.
I don't know. So okay, I love. She's the youngest, so age will probably come into a factor there. She's very smart, clearly, because she graduated at 19. big plus, she loves Davon. She says in her bio that Davon and Bailey's relationship was truly one of the highlights. She picked Davon and Bailey and Paul and Victor as their as her favorite duos. She likes Dan Giesling. She loved the whole move of him blindsiding Shane. So she knows the game here. She clearly knows the game. Again, could be just watching the stuff that's in Sequester, but it really is giving me. They didn't put 21 in Sequester, but I don't know. So I'm trying to figure out who I want to represent her. And
this is definitely someone who I feel like I want to see the video, because I think you're right, Pooya, in the sense of like she talks about wanting to be like calculated. But I feel like she is someone who is going to be like, and again, like never give up all your information, but is like based on the text is going to be like seems like maybe like a bubbly talker, you know, like a here's all the stuff. Yeah, I have one if we want to start, because when I saw calculated, never give up all your information, I was thinking like, who's like mysterious, like who, you know, sort of like in the background, doesn't say much. And at first I thought like maybe this is like Io Shirai, but actually I actually think if this prediction is true of like actually giving more than she like thinks she can do, I actually think she's more like Asuka, in the sense of like Asuka came in, and I like there's always been like a stereotype of how they bring in like age, which is like that exact thing of like the way kind of they have Io of like quiet, calculate, like, you know, aggressor, but then Asuka shows like all this personality now, right? Like the like dancing, bubbly. So that's sort of where I went with this. So I think I would choose Asuka probably.
I like that. Matt, how about you?
So I really was between two. Okay. I'm just going to go with it. Ember Moon, and that touches on the mysterious kind of nature of things. But by the way, I'll just point out Hannah as a science and math nerd. I feel nerd vibes from Ember Moon, and so I could see that connection there. The other person I thought of was Bailey. I feel like she could be a good Bailey. Like it's not Bailey today, but like Bailey when Bailey had the headbands, like overly enthusiastic, hugging people. But I also don't get the friendly vibes.
I have another Bailey.
Hannah.
I feel like there's another Bailey in there.
I have another Bailey as well.
I'm going to go with Ember Moon then.
Okay. So I'm going to go with Dakota Kai. And not this version of Dakota Kai, the current heel version, even though I love this version of Dakota too. But like, we're talking about Team Kick Dakota Kai, bubbly, just the underdog that kept on kicking. Just literally. Very like, and then when she finally turned, it was one of the smartest heel turns, because they love to make some people look stupid when they turn and heel. So I think that Dakota Kai would be a really good representation for her, because I see the bubbly. I wonder if she ends up maybe floating, coasting. I could probably see that, but we'll never know until we actually get to hear her. So I'm going to put forth Dakota Kai.
I think it's very hard to like play a calculated game when you're 21 years old. Like she might come in and maybe she's really smart. And maybe she is like has a knack for the game, but it's so hard. Like you don't know what you don't know when you are young, you know?
Exactly.
That is so true.
Yeah. I'm actually in the same boat as Matt. I also said Ember Moon. I also went with Ember Moon here. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a little bit lost where to find Hannah. I couldn't, because like Hannah, the thing with Hannah is she is 21, and I know there's a lot of life experience yet to be experienced. But then I say that, but also she's achieved very high level of academia. She's got dancing down. She's shown interest in fashion. So like there's so many angles you could go with this. But ultimately, I think Ember Moon for me encapsulated more of what I was looking at. Also, I looked up her TikTok. There's 3 videos and they're all dances. So I don't not know what Hannah sounds like at the moment.
Still, and they pointed out that there's a lot of dancers on this cast. Some sort of dancing alliance.
We're gonna get a flash mob in that house. 100%.
Like Tommy did. 100%.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I like, you know what? The more I think about it, I love this Ember Moon comparison, mostly because Ember Moon has all of the tools. Like all of the tools, but somehow still manages to just kind of be like just quieter and one step behind a lot of the bigger voices and the more prominent characters. So I feel like, you know, once she sticks her character landing, she can be propelled forward. And that's kind of like what I think you can go with a 21-year-old graduate. Like, she's probably going to learn a lot of stuff in that house, but might just be unprepared just by virtue of being that young. Kind of like Haley and BB20.
There's some like Ember Moon to that, in the sense of like Ember Moon like came up through NXT. She was given the championship, but like then they moved her to the main roster, and it just like didn't really work, right? Like it didn't, and they were like, okay, you got to go back to NXT, you know. And so she's back there, and so you could either see that like she has this ton of potential that she could capitalize on, and you could see, okay, yeah, that makes sense, or she like it won't work out this time. So
exactly. So I think we're all in agreement. We're gonna do Hannah and Ember Moon.
That's it.
That. I like that. I feel good about that. Next up, we have Brent.
Brent Champagne.
Brent. Yes, Brent Champagne.
What a name.
So, yeah, I mean, that Brent Champagne, it's right there, then and there. Grace, initial thoughts on Brent?
You know, it's, you know,
right.
He likes working out. He likes, you know, fishing, hiking. You know, it is interesting that he hosted a live lottery show. That's interesting. Yeah. I think like not something I would sort of expect on someone's thing. Yeah, I don't know. There's like not a ton here. Yeah. He's here for a good time, not a long time. That could be true. Yeah. That could be true. That is his motto. Yes.
Yeah, leave that. Maybe skip over that one for this game.
Another guy, I think that you know, Big Brother tries to, you know, they want to cast these like charming people, and then it's hard in like a text interview to really know like this exact thing about like what does he sound like? What does he actually come off like charming? Yeah. Can he make connections in the house? Because he's this guy, he's this like good looking guy who's been able to do that in his life, or is he like sort of like he's good looking and doesn't really know what to do with like that social capital because it's always just like come to him, you know? So I don't know what to make of him. Yeah.
I would say he references Big Brother 20 in his bio. He also, when they asked him what his favorite moment was, he didn't even give a favorite moment. He called it his guilty pleasure. So to me, it kind of feels like he's not even like into Big Brother like that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you kind of call stuff your guilty pleasure that you don't want nobody to know, right? That you're watching. Oh, gosh, and then he said he likes the feeling of like watching people who are rightfully blindsided or backdoored. I said in Pooya's chat, like that sounded like that was a subtweet to Swaggy C, because he says he loves Tyler and Angela and then loves the backdoor. I was like, okay, so you a Swaggy hater. But like I get that we all like blind sides. We all like blind sides. We all love backdoors and stuff like that. But relishing in that, I don't know.
Well, but like that's just not answering the question. Like he honestly, I should have gone with a wrestling gimmick that's more like a politician, because he just dodged the question, because I don't think he had a moment in mind specifically. I just thought that was questionable, because like for all of us, like I'm sure we'd be dying to answer these questions by like this point, right? And so I don't know about him. But a flight attendant, it's interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, that should mean he should be able to at least be able to connect with people on some.
It depends what airline, honestly. Like if he's with United, he's probably a powerhouse tackling people and beating them up. There was a United flight attendant who like 2 months ago zip tied a guy. I was impressed. So maybe that was Brent.
Oh no.
So I'm on his Instagram account because I'm out here sleuthing. So he has, you know, one of those Instagram highlights that you can put. One is called Celeb Love, and it's him screenshotting every single celebrity who's followed him or liked or viewed his stuff. And it's him screenshotting that, putting a circle around it, and then saying, I appreciate you showing some love to my content constantly over and over. So he's very much awkward. That gives me a little bit of, I know why you're here. Yeah. I know why you're here. This might be one of few things you're doing here, trying to get that clout. However, I can tell you, based on what I'm seeing, he is built. Like this guy,
he's
jacked. Yeah, so he's definitely
Really?
going to come off as a threat from that regard. Yeah, he's definitely got that like cheese grating type abs situation going.
Yeah.
Wow. I was gonna say neck up, like from just looking at a picture of his face. You don't see it, but I believe it.
I was with you. I was with you as well until I did the creeping on the Instagram here.
Thank you for the creeping.
Yeah, of course, I got you. But yeah, for me, ultimately, this bio didn't scream all that much. The whole rightfully and like rightfully's written in all caps. I was like, all that makes me do is root for you to get backdoored because that would be very funny. And then I want to make that TikTok of like the you know, it's this and then it's the role reverse and he's the one getting backdoored. Like I want to make that TikTok, so I'm rooting for that. And there's a big chance I'm just going to refer to him as Champagne the whole season, to be honest. So
yeah,
right.
Ooh, I have a wrestler in mind for him, and I don't know if I'm guessing this is not who the rest of you have. So I want to put it out there. I want to put it out there. I was looking for something. I found like flight attendant, like definitely not a super fan. I got like some Vegas vibes from him though. But you know what? I'm gonna go with the limousine riding, jet flying, something else, son of a gun, Ric Flair, because I could picture him on the flight with his champagne. The only difference is that Brent is the flight attendant, whereas Rick is the one with the private jet. But it works for me. This is Ric Flair. We're locking it in.
Does your arm hurt from that?
The stretch. My arm popped out of socket for that one, but I was looking at him, and then the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase also came to mind.
No, you know who he is? He's Dolph Ziggler. He's like the knockoff like Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels. Like he's not that. He's like, you know, the level down. Like, you know, not the successful version of. I mean, you know, me my words. If he like is the winner of Big Brother 23. But I feel like he's like not the successful version of Ric Flair. He's like people who want to be Ric Flair.
I was very upset because I had someone in my mind immediately, and then I looked and they weren't on this roster. I would have gone with Damian Sandow for him. I would have gone with Damian Sandow for him. And I love Ziggler, but I think what Grace just said, Ziggler hits for me. I will say this: I did not end up giving Brent one because I didn't see Sandow, so I moved on, and then I forgot to put it back in my doc. So I'm actually open. My Brent is blank.
Robert Roode is the other one that I kind of think is like could be like Ric Flair, and I know that like him and Ziggler team together, but you know.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you Baron Corbin. I think he's Baron Corbin. I think he's full of himself. I think he thinks he's gonna come in here and get the job done. He's gonna be the king of the house. I think it's going to be Baron Corbin. And hopefully if it is like, I'm sorry, he's not a favorite of mine, guys. I'm going to say it right here and there. But like, if it is like Baron Corbin, then he gets that you know, clumsy king gimmick where he's constantly being beat up type style. So I think I'm going to go with Baron Corbin. I'm definitely not going with Ric Flair.
How dare you?
That's for sure.
Out of the people we've mentioned, which one do you think would have been most likely to say, I'd like a money counter in the house because it'll make it a heck of a lot easier to count 500K than by hand?
Did he really say that?
He said that's in what would you take into the house? That's there. Yeah.
Money counter, yeah.
Okay, can I switch? I want to say Randy Orton then, because those were the two I was coming in. Those are the two I was thinking. And I didn't even want to give him the respect of the Randy Orton. But looking at his body with that type of ego, how can you not go Randy Orton here?
But a flight attendant?
What does that mean? Like you said,
Randy Orton would not be a flight attendant.
Like Randy Orton would, if we're talking air travel, I think he'd be like the air marshal, Randy Orton.
Yeah,
he wouldn't be the
100%.
flight attendant. Yeah.
But that's close to a flight attendant.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
they're
going
both in
with
the
Grace.
sky.
Grace has won me over. It's either going to be Dolph Ziggler or Robert Roode for me. It's just a matter of which one Grace ends up finalizing.
I think they're like it's like the knockoff Flair, you know? His name is Brent Champagne. His name is Brent Champagne.
I think I would. Oh, God. I think that Dolph Ziggler is probably it, though. Because he crossed my mind. He looks like just like looking at this guy.
Again, this is the thing. this is the thing that we don't know yet is like what is his charm level? Because I feel like there's a big difference between like Ziggler and Rude, and then like Corbin and Randy Orton. Like they're different types of like Rude and Corbin are much more like manipulative, like So I don't know.
Looking at the video that Pooya just put in the chat for us, he cannot dance. He cannot dance.
He will lose that dance alliance. He will not be in that dance alliance.
I haven't even started watching this video, but
happening in this, you know what?
There is consistency in this video though, because the caption for this video that I sent is "I'm here for a good, not a long time." So and this is from 2020. This is
okay. Oh, he dropped it low in this video.
So
I gotta say,
I'm fine to go with Dolph Ziggler. I'm fine.
Let's just do that and move on because this is getting dark.
This is the darkest timeline.
No, he did. Yeah, mess.
So a good thing we can talk about right now, speaking since we just wrapped up Brent, what we know so far about the season is that it's a beach theme. It's like a beach casino theme. We've known that for like a month or so now when Julie thought she was like teasing us with something. But the biggest thing and the reason why they probably gave them 11, 14 in Sequester is because the teams will be divided into 4 teams of 4. But how they're going to be divided is there's going to be a competition on night 1 between like as they move in. It's going to be exactly like All-Stars. So, as the All-Stars, they moved in 4 at a time, there's going to be a competition. Whoever wins out of that group will then become a team captain, and there'll be 4 team captains. Then they said that they are going to show them 90 seconds of like preseason clips before they have to pick their team. How do we feel about this, guys? I don't know if I like this. Pooya, what do you think?
So typically, historically, none of the team twists on any seasons have really hit for me, except for this last season of BB Can, where there was 2 teams, and that worked because the cast did not play to that, completely to the benefits of that whole thing. Like there were a bunch of people that came together and said, if we all form together, we can win this thing based off the strong fact that we're the main alliance. It fell apart. And I think that that's the key in these seasons is when things hit the fan and they fall apart, that's when you get maximum entertainment. Whereas teams kind of puts you in this little like lockdown of people where when there's less people, there's a lot like, so for example, with Survivor, I feel like you can vote out anybody at any time, right? That's a big, nice thing. Whereas it's like with Big Brother, it's like, okay, 2 nominees, 1 HOH, like everything's like cookie cutter, clear. You can't vote anyone else but these 2 people. I think this season's a little bit different because it's going to be blind pickings. Like it's not going to be all right, it's not BB11 of, well, you're coming into these 4 teams, deal with it. And it's not BB14 of, here are 4 previous legends who are now going to game this for themselves and pick based on what's going to benefit them. So this is definitely new people coming in, first impressions, everything new. So it's like, oh yeah, maybe all the 4, like maybe 4 really like physically fit men pick each other, but then they're in a bad spot.
So stupid. Yeah.
So it'd be very dumb. So I just think that gives me a little bit of I'm going to look at it with positivity in that we don't know the makeup of the teams. We don't know what they're going to see in each other. This is also the most diverse cast we've had yet. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play into it. There's a lot more equations this time around, which gives me more hope. Whereas before I've met this twist with more bleakness than now.
Grace?
Yeah, I mean, if I had my preference, we would just leave it alone. Like it would be fine. Like we would just sit there. But if they're gonna do something, at least like this, the thing that we see is that like somebody who's relatively strong ends up winning that first cup. They put up 2 people who they perceive as weak, and one of those 2 people goes home. And so at least there's like a chance that we can like avoid, I guess that. Like I guess it seems like that was one of the things that they're like trying to do is like avoid this like the big alliance forming very early on. I don't know really what they have up their sleeve to like try and do that. I guess that's like the one bright side, but to me, I think just like leave it alone. But
right.
Yeah. And like maybe the other thing I would add is that the one thing that I'm curious about with the videos number one, it seems strange because like, are the producers just choosing what 90-second clip to show is one question, or is it like hey, record 90 seconds, this will be shown to somebody? But the thing that I wonder about is if this will help like humanize some of the people who might be overlooked otherwise, like for the people who are in power. So maybe they'll be like, oh, like I really like so and so more than they would have otherwise. And I think I think especially of like people of color on the cast for this, because maybe this will help in some way. It's a strange twist. I have no clue. But curious, definitely curious and optimistic.
Well, yeah, several things come to my mind when I think about this. First, they get to pick the 90 seconds. So if production wants to put somebody in a bad light, they possibly could. But this is kind of like BB Can 7 when they did at the beginning of BB Can 7 when they showed like interview clips from each house guest, and we got the infamous Kira saying that they would be a comp beast, which was really funny with how the season played out. So that's the only other time where we've seen them show house guests video of other house guests really like preseason, not like just have them spying on them in the house, but like actual preseason stuff. So to me, this twist also just will benefit let's be real, this will always benefit like the big guys, because people will automatically just assume that the big fit guys are going to be the ones who are going to win a lot of games. So, I don't really like that portion, but they're also saying there's going to be a double or nothing offer for HOH, which we don't know what that means. That's okay. That's kind of interesting. And then there's going to be an additional safety comp for other teams where like, that each of the three teams that lost will then put one person into the safety comp, and then during the safety comp they will have to decide if they want to participate, and if they participate it might affect either just them, their team, or their whole house. Like they might get a punishment. So we're still working it through. If you want more information on this, we'll put Mike Bloom's article explaining the twist of the season in the show notes, because I know I probably just explained that so horribly, but this does feel like it's something we're just going to have to watch and see how it plays out. But they did specify that it's only for 4 weeks, so no matter what, it's not like going to be like BB Can, like after 2 weeks they can pull the plug if they feel like it's not working. They have specified that it is for 4 weeks, so we're stuck with this for 4 weeks, just like Camp Comeback. Camp Comeback, yeah. So, so let's move on to our next. Let's go, Brittany. She's 24, and they say here that she's a kindergarten teacher. Matt, what are your thoughts on Brittany, the kindergarten teacher?
Brittany, the kindergarten teacher. I have so many questions about her. The most fascinating thing, there's just so much going on. So she has I'm just going to go through the things that stood out to me that I was trying to use. So has 173 snow globes. I'm not sure if that's something to be proud of. I don't know, but that was very interesting. She sprains her ankles 11 times. Or something like that. It was very high number, very bizarre. She has a lot of values. She believes in I like to say drill, discipline, respect, integrity, and loyalty. So all I know is that she's a very intense human being, and I'm a little afraid, actually, of what we'll see. She has
like a black belt,
and a black belt. Yeah, she has so many different things that she listed, and I don't know if it's just like me and what stood out, but I felt like there was a lot of different stuff that she just rattled. Yeah, like her fun facts. She has about 10 fun facts about herself.
This is
like nobody's that fun.
She plays like 4 instruments. She won this medal. She has this black belt. It's like so much.
Very overachiever.
Can I tell you my favorite thing about her bio?
Tell
my
us.
favorite thing.
Please.
So like everybody, they get asked like, what would you bring into the Big Brother house? And everybody's like, I'd bring in my PlayStation. I'd bring in my dog. Like the question is clearly like, what are the things you would want to bring in that we're clearly not going to let you bring in? And then Brittany is like, I'm going to bring in my values and I'm going to bring in clothes and also one particular hoodie.
Right.
like two of her items. One is athletic clothing and the next one is also this hoodie. So two of the three things.
She really thought it was things that she was going to bring.
Yes, 100%. Not like Dream Island fantasy stuff. Like no, well, yeah. So bring in my clothes for sure. That's one, and then also my values.
No one, no one was like, "Hey, could you please fill out this questionnaire again?"
Yeah, I don't know.
Cut it down. And also answer the question.
I love it. It's full of capital letters too, like in certain words are capitalized to like get her enthusiasm and her excitement. She's clearly a Big Brother fan because she's so excited about the competition. She's excited to play the games. She name drops as her favorite duos Derrick and Cody in 16, Tyler and Angela, and Tyler and Casey, Davon and Bailey, and Paul and Victor. So that's more than the allotted shows that they gave in Sequester. So it sounds like maybe she could be like a modern BB fan. Like she started watching around BB 16 or something like that. So I think she is like a fan. But she doesn't reference anything earlier than the modern seasons than BB 14, which again we suspect was given to them in Sequester. And she loves Dan getting Danielle. Again, this is another, we just got so many Dan's funerals and so many like Dan getting Danielle to pull out the veto type stuff that there's no way that they didn't watch that. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's no way.
So for sure, what I've heard, and I can confirm this, they were given 4 seasons. They were given 11, 14, 16, and 20.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
Yeah.
So completely confirmed. And her life motto is never give up, never back down from a challenge, never quit, never stop believing in yourself.
She's John Cena.
And all you accomplish.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So with that being said, if you don't mind me starting off,
please.
I picked Nikki Bella for her. I mean, it's right there. It's literally right there. You know,
is it though?
It is. I feel like it is. We know she's down with the hustle, loyalty, and respect because she was John Cena's right-hand woman for many years. But the whole fearless Nikki stuff, you know, Nikki and the Bella Twins, and you know, they started as models, and she worked her way up to like actually wrestling. So I feel this energy. I feel this overachiever that if I'm gonna set my mind to it, I'm gonna do it type of energy. So I'm gonna go with Nikki Bella.
Interesting.
Who do you got?
So I felt a lot of energy, and I've gone through her TikTok, and it's nothing but energy. We were halfway in the same lane. I also went with Nikki Cross. I did not go with Nikki Bella.
Okay.
I was like, this is a lot of energy. There's a lot of unpredictable energy. And then I was like, let me see what Nikki Cross been up to. Now she's a superhero. And I was like, she's put on a costume. You know what Brittany said she wants? She wants the costumes in the season. So I was like, you are slotting in the Nikki Cross position here for me, just with all that energy. Like, I feel like this is the move for me.
I like that. Matt?
I went with.
I just did that.
As a side note, I have Nikki Bella as an option for somebody else. A strong option for someone else. But I wrote down Lacey. I think she's a Lacey Evans. Evans.
I have Lacey Evans for somebody else.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, Lacey Evans is mine. Just it's the values, and Lacey Evans was in the military, and I could see Lacey Evans being a school teacher too. So you know, that's where but Grace.
Yeah, Grace, where you got
this? Okay, now I feel like when people said they had a Bailey somewhere else, I think I know where they're going now. But to me, this is Bailey, kindergarten teacher, the energy, and it's a little bit of mix of like babyface Bailey and now heel Bailey. Like I feel like the heel Bailey comes in with the like integrity, the values, like that sort of stuff. But also the like Bailey would 100% when she's would 100% be a kindergarten teacher, right? like absolutely, right? The like hugs, inflatable tube bend, you know, it's very like, you know,
Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario
I get
Kart.
that now because I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I like Brittany, and I'm glad that she seems like a player. But she is giving. Maybe it's that whole. It seems like she wants to find a duo or she wants to find an alliance and kind of stick with them. And we're not fans of that here. You know what I'm saying? We want to see people shake things up. Yeah, you want to have your alliances, but we want to see you cut them if you have to. And it does not seem like she's gonna want to cut them when she has to. So I agree with Grace. I do get that, like that lovable energy, but I can feel like a little bit of a villain side from her. I would not be surprised if she was like one of our villains of the season. This is hard.
Oh,
I like the costume thing is very funny. I think that's very good.
Yeah. So for me, if I'm conceding, and going Bailey. So that's the two directions I would go.
I think that I'm on the same page with Bailey. Pooya.
So y'all just not gonna pick my picks? Y'all just not gonna pick my picks?
No, we're gonna.
Y'all just not gonna pick my picks. Okay.
We will. There's plenty to go. There's plenty to go.
One day.
No, it's okay. I will go with Bailey. I like it because I like the two-facedness. Because I really feel like she can go either way. I really like her bio. Like if nothing else, give us more so that we, than nothing. Because
I'm a little afraid. Pooya, could you tell us about her Instagram?
Yeah, so the Instagram post I sent you, there's plenty more of that on TikTok.
Oh my God.
Like she is dancing at 120 every time. Every movement is in with like the energy that I've not seen anyone else emit. And I did see on one of the Discords I'm on.
How are you that excited?
I know. That's what I'm saying. I heard from someone on a Discord that they know someone who knows her, and she is going to be the most energetic and the loudest person on feeds. So that's on my. If you're always going to be at 10, 11, like that's where you're going to be. That's Brittany for sure. For sure.
People really need to see. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's circulating on Twitter. Yeah, if you've seen a video on Twitter, it's her video. So you'll see.
She is dancing her little heart out on that video.
Yeah,
so.
go find it. I don't. Whoa! I watched 2 seconds, and every second I have to stop because.
So now, because again, this is what we're going off these bios. I don't think I would have really gotten. Well, we did get her energy. But now I'm kind of thinking, will she be too loud? And will people be like, oh
she'll definitely be too loud.
I think she's in trouble. I'd be worried.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. If she don't find her people, she might be in trouble.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing is that for me, it's always like I take their social media with a grain of salt because I know that they can, like, once the interviews come in and they're in that house, they're gonna show a different side to them, right? Because these videos at their core are the more like, this is who I am amongst my friends and family. This isn't who I am in front of a camera and like the entire country and worldwide and people I don't know. Like if I meet a room of strangers for the first time, I'm not the same person you guys meet on like a podcast or a stream or something. Yeah, I'm way more quiet. So I do take it with a grain of salt, but it's fun to be in a detective during the Big Brother preseason. So we move. It's good.
Yeah, we move. So we got Brittany is going to be Bailey, or the other way around. Bailey's going to be Brittany by proxy, whatever you call it.
Something
all right,
like that.
And we move. Next, we got Derrick Frazier. This is, come on. As soon as the cash dropped, we got a lot of good stuff from his bio, and then his infamous TikTok that he did not post but made him go famous came up, and I mean, come on. Pooya, you want to just start us off because we're excited. You're excited.
It was love at first sight. It was love at first sight. Everything from the minute I saw the TikTok, I loved them. And reading the bio gave me more of that. Now, I don't think Derrick's going to be coming in as like the super fan's choice by any means.
Right.
But he's the one I'm rooting for. Like, he might not be my winner pick, but I'm definitely going to be rooting for him. And he's going to be entertaining. He's going to be fun. He is the son of, what was the name of his
Smoking Joe Frazier.
Yes, that's the boxer. One of the first boxer to ever defeat Muhammad Ali, notably. So he's got that. But to me, like, I think Derrick's going to be on his own journey here, trying to, you know, prove his own name without, you know, being in the shadow of his family. So I love that. And I mean, I fully recognize that Derrick is a physical size that we don't see on these shows. Big Brother, especially Big Brother US, has always skewed like, let me bring the cookie cutter jacked men, and Derrick doesn't necessarily fall into that. And I love that. I relate more to Derrick than I would any of these other men. And I'm very excited to see him play this game. So to me, this was easily my favorite reveal of the day.
Yeah. Grace? Yeah. What do you think?
I would agree. I think that like the first thing that sort of came out about Derrick was that he was, you know, the son of a famous boxer. And I think people were like a little bit like, ooh, like, I don't know, like it feels like very like, you know, like trick casting or whatever, you know, know, so they can be in the commercial, whatever. And I made a joke. I said, Mike Bloom and Liana, if you do not do you do not do a game where you guess the boxing puns that will be in that he'll have to do in the diary room. I was like, I'm gonna knock you out of the house. Like that is exactly like I feel like we're gonna get like 1 million of those. But then this TikTok comes around and I'm like, it's not what I expected this guy to be at all, and it's incredible and I love it. And I'm so excited for Derrick to be in this house.
Oh my God, I would love. I want the boxing puns. I
think they're gonna do it. Mike Bloom said that. I think he's they're gonna do the draft of the boxing pun game.
Yes. He also has his own podcast. I don't know what he podcasts about, but it's him and his friend. And not only so I don't know if he didn't say it anywhere in his bio, but if you go on his social medias, he's clearly like a gay man. He's out as a gay man, and just seeing again a gay man with, like Pooya said, with this body type being on Big Brother is something that I know. I have personal friends who have been waiting for something like this, and it's just amazing that we'll get to see him play, and hopefully, you know, it'll be for a long time, not a short time, or whatever the opposite of Brent saying is. Matt, how do you feel about Derrick's casting?
I mean, I love Derrick. I love Derrick, especially after the video, his viral video. But you know, I think one thing I noted, I love this man because in the bio he mentions that his favorite moment is when Jen threw out all of Dick's cigarettes in BB8, which I'm like, that is a deep cut that Big Brother probably won. Like that whole season is a deep cut that Big Brother probably wanted to bury. So I like that. And you know what? That's sinister. I think that we're going to get some shenanigans from Derrick, or at least I hope that we get them. I would hope he's around long enough for us to get them. And like, so I'm a fan.
The importance of his video was that his bio is very one line. He doesn't waste much time or space, just puts a sentence, moves on. But then we watch that one video and you're like, oh, he has personality out the window. Like, he is fine. He does not need to give me that big bio. I know what we're going to get with Derrick. Like, he's one of the people I don't even need to see his interview. I would love to see it. But if we didn't get interviews, I'm not worried about, I know what I'm getting from Derrick and I'm excited about it.
Right. Do you think, because I mean, we talk about it with a lot of, like, when we talk about Black representation in the house and stuff like that, him being like a bigger Black man, do you think he's gonna, you know, have to do the thing where he tries to minimize his target in a sense and maybe tamp down his charisma? Or is it because this is, you know, one of the most diverse castings Big Brother has yet, that he can actually like let his hair down? Like, pun intended, I don't know, he's bald. If you're not watching the YouTube, you wouldn't know he's bald. But will he be able to actually just like be himself, walk in there and feel comfortable? No, which I really hope he'll be able to.
Here's my concern. Like, a lot of people, and I don't know, it just seemed to me like, and I'm not sure if this is just how they put the bios together, but a lot of people, they live where they're from, or they live close to where they're from. And there's someone who I don't think we've talked about yet, but she like hasn't left her hometown in Florida yet. And I just worry about people like that kind of finding excuses. But the thing is, like, as a Black man, as a queer person, as a bigger bodied person, like there are going to be a lot of reasons I think people might kind of like not love him and not love him sharing the space. He's so lovable though. Yeah. And I hope that it goes the other direction. It's just like, it's that jaded, we've seen this happen before where people like Derrick will get picked up. So I hope that that's not the case this season.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think the one thing about
they're worried about tall.
Yeah.
When I met Matt in person, I was like, "Oh my god, you're so tall! I love it."
Yeah, they would definitely target. I'm out. I'm first one out.
I think the thing being worried about him needing to tone it down or whatever, I do think that him having a famous father might be a thing that like he can adapt to these like situations where like the spotlight is on him in a sense. Like he's not his dad and he's not in the spotlight the same way his dad was. But certainly there's probably times where he has to be at events where it's like about, so I do think there is something to be said about that would lead me to believe that like, it doesn't seem like I know that like his TikTok is like, the one TikTok, we've seen one video, but he just seems like this like outgoing guy that I know it does seem weird that people wouldn't love him, that people wouldn't like him, and that he would feel like he needs to tone it down. I don't get that sense from the very small amount I've seen of him, but maybe in the house it'll be different.
Yeah, and you just never know. Like when you initially walk into a situation, everybody deals with it differently. You know what I'm saying? And some people can, just comfortably walk into any situation and just be them true, authentic selves. But others can walk into situations and be guarded, because of what they've been through. So we'll just see. I think we're all big fans of Derrick on this. I'm rooting for him. I really am. I'm rooting for him. Now I want to hear what you got, Matt.
Is he a fan? Is he a Big Brother fan? Because
enough to know Evil Dick and that BB8, I feel like is more. You mentioned it's a deep cut. I don't know. Yeah, like he had to have watched that on his own. As far as the rest of his body didn't scream that, but that line does stick out to me.
Exactly.
And that's where maybe an interview for him would help, because that's when we'll find out a little deeper of how much you know about the show. I
agree.
He says
he binge watches TV in all of his bios, so maybe he binge watches Big Brother, but we'll never know until we get some interviews. And he does say that he's loud, outgoing, and assertive. So again, we won't know until they're in that house. I just hope he doesn't feel like he'll have to lessen himself. Okay, so Grace, who do you have?
Wrestlers.
Oh, there are a few, and like I want to be very cautious that I feel like WWE has the habit of with a babyface black wrestlers doing like having these guys who are like happy and outgoing. And so I do feel like when I'm looking at the roster, there are a few. So I feel like a bunch of the New Day fit. He talks about video games. He has maybe Big E energy, but the other thing I think that like I've seen on Twitter today is like the immediate gravitational like of his TikTok of him, and I feel like we're all basking in his glory. So I feel like Keith Lee is an interesting comparison.
Yes. I can see that. I can agree with that. I miss Keith Lee so much. I want him to come back. But I like that. Pooya?
Keith Lee was there, and I had Keith Lee, and then I changed it ultimately to Xavier Woods. And it was combination of the video game stuff, the up, down, down of it all. And then just the fact that I feel like Derrick is there. Derrick will play the game, but I don't think Derrick is going to like forget the fun along the way. And I feel like that kind of energy of finding the positive, finding times to have a good time in a house like that, in what can be a very strenuous 3 months. Derrick's someone who I think is not gonna like suffer from the downtime. I think Derrick's gonna make the downtime his own and is gonna have a good time there and find a way to keep it positive. So for that reason, I ended up switching it over to Xavier Woods.
I have Xavier Woods for somebody else. So I'm going to give you guys something that I think it's just something you wouldn't immediately think of, but I think would fit Derrick. I came with, I think Otis. I think original Otis, not new Otis. But I think just a big man with a lot of charisma being able to have fun and laugh it up, that is Otis, and I feel like that's Derrick. I like the thought process of I mean, Otis was not supposed to be anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, he came up to the main roster and grabbed the audience's attention so much so that Vince McMahon put Money in the Bank briefcase on him. I mean, it got taken later on, but that's crazy as somebody who was just supposed to be like a sidekick in a tag team. And it just calls out to Otis's charisma and being able to connect with people, and him and the Mandy Rose storyline was the biggest thing ever. So I want to go with Otis for Derrick. What do you think, Matt?
I had Big E. I had Big E for him because it's just those hips. Like, ooh, yeah, that's what it's all about. And I think if I had to picture like Big E and like reading this bio, there's just so much to it. I'm like, I get that Big E energy. So that's what I have. But I kind of feel like we have a couple of people that we sort of have like circled around. Keith Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And
Xavier
we could go with Otis. Who knows? Maybe Otis is it. I don't know.
I saw Otis on there. I was like, oh, it could be Otis. It could be. I think I get what you're get. Is it like, yeah, wasn't expecting much, and then boom, you're like, who is this guy? Who is this? What are you doing? Yeah. Doing the caterpillar. What are you doing? I think it's a good call.
And I think Derrick could fit in there because if he can get in good with a solid alliance and even have maybe a secret duo, I think he can go really far. I think the biggest thing would be mitigating the target on his back. Maybe he might be a good competitor or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I want to put up my nomination of Otis. Does anybody want to come with me? Who's coming?
I feel like I'll have to change, but I do feel like Big E is really a strong man, big meaty man slapping meats. And you know what? I could see that for Derrick slapping meats.
I would like to give up Xavier Woods and go over to the Big E camp, please.
God,
all right, I'm moving to the Big E. I'm moving to Big E.
Mari, you're not in the Big E camp?
Well, I have Big E second. My thing says Otis, Big E.
Mm-hmm.
So so I agree. I think they're both a good fit for him here.
All right, we'll go Big E. All right.
Yeah, let's do that. Oh shoot!
I'm mad on the redemption tour tonight. I'll tell you.
I know. I'm telling
you. I'm like agreeing too much with you.
You won't give me a single inch.
No, I will say though, in my head, like I almost went Otis because I was like, no one's gonna expect Otis. Like no one's gonna look at Derrick and be like, they picked Otis. Like no one would have done that. So, all right, we'll see where we go next.
It's a good pick. All right. So after Derrick, we have Frenchie. Real name is, what is it? Brandon. Click on that for me, Matt. Brandon Frenchie French. So
that's an upgrade, by the way. Going from Brandon to Frenchie is definitely. Shout out to what's her name? Angelique Morgan from Rock of Love / I think the like Big Brother UK celebrity. I don't know.
Yes.
The original
Frenchie. The original Frenchie.
Yeah, the original Frenchie. Okay. I didn't know where you're going there. I got you. We're on the same page here.
We are.
34, second oldest from Tennessee. He is, of course, making the rounds on BB Twitter because apparently he is a part of BB Twitter. Well, so he named one of his kids after Robin Cass. That is confirmed.
Oh, I mean, is it confirmed or?
No, it's confirmed. It is.
How old are his kids?
Like pretty confirmed.
How old are his kids?
It was like just last year, so I'm not sure about how old his kids are. They did mention on Taryn and Rob's that he may have lost his son. I'm not sure about that one, but
I did hear that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But he is a huge Big Brother fan. He is a super fan. He's here on these BB Twitter streets. Of course, we got to mention that he said his favorite house guest duo was Brittany Haynes and Rachel's hair extensions. So he's going for the last.
Great answer.
He's trying to put out there. Like, I know my stuff, so good on him. Matt, how do you feel about Frenchie?
Oh, I was just gonna throw in NAACP member.
Yeah.
Just because we're gonna list our memberships in the bios maybe. But I will say I don't know. I don't really know about this guy. I have feelings. I'm not sure. I don't know what to think.
Yeah.
But I do know which wrestler I would go with 1,000% for him.
Please.
Like I would lock it in.
Oh,
and I'm not going to reveal
struggling
that
with
yet.
this one.
Me too. That's why I'm like, please go.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing. Okay, so I had two. Like at first, I was like, maybe there's like a riddle type of thing going on here, but you know what I landed on? Heath Slater.
I got kids.
Wow.
Got kids.
Okay.
He has kids. Yeah.
Okay.
That's him.
Yeah.
All right.
I love his life's motto, which is, "You will always go through rocky times, but together we can crush those rocks into fine sand and create our own paradise." My paradise doesn't need to be all sandy, you know? I guess he's going for like a beach atmosphere, long. But like, you know, yeah, such a long time.
Yeah.
There's so much sand out in the world, you don't need to crush the rocks to create sand.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there it is. Yeah, it's in the bio. Picture of my son who passed away. Because it motivates him. Okay.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. I like the Heath Slater. I honestly didn't know where to go with him. Honestly, I was just like, I don't know. You know, he's one of the people that BB Twitter is kind of tearing up right now. But I like the Heath Slater comparison just because it's kind of like Heath Slater was in on the joke, you know, and I can definitely see Frenchie being in on the joke. Making fun of himself. We Pooya showed on his stream the TikTok that I think Frenchie made, right? Pooya. So anybody else have any suggestions? Grace, did you pick a
he won the punt, pass, and kick competition, and he has some very like Southern vibes to him. I feel like I know he's from Tennessee, so I had some Shawn Michaels of like sweet chin music. He kicks, and he's from Texas. Like he's like has a Texan vibe. Like that's basically it. I also had like AJ Styles a bit, sort of similar to like but I don't know. Yeah, I don't got a ton here. Heath Slater is probably stronger than those.
Yeah, so
I was just gonna say, I feel like something I have seen a lot on Twitter with him is people are very excited, and it's hard to tell, but I'm like, I feel like he might be a huge sweetheart, but this bio doesn't give you much. I mean, clearly there's a lot of meaningful stuff in there, emotional stuff in the bio too, and so. I don't know. Frenchie's like kind of growing on me little by little, but
Matt,
I'm
I think
cautious.
you've only seen one portion of the BB Twitter.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, look, but we'll see what's going on.
Pooya, what were your thoughts?
So yeah, I've definitely. So after I heard that Frenchie is part of BB Twitter, I did my search. I searched up Frenchie. What has Frenchie said about Big Brother 20, Big Brother 21. Not a Mickey fan based on what I saw, so that's cool. But then I did see a tweet where he's been watching the show from like 20 years ago. It's like this is like a proper like fan from a long time. But ultimately, I don't know. Like I think Frenchie's probably gonna want to go in and play like hella game, big game, like memorable game, standable game.
Right.
But is it gonna just be flash in the pan, like one big good moment? Maybe. But so for me, I went with been there from like the beginning, from a long time, and ultimately is going to do the equivalent of like jump off the Hell in a Cell. I went with Shane McMahon. I was like, you're like there, you know the ins and outs, but then are you really gonna give me a lot, or you're gonna give me like one moment that you're gonna hang on to potentially? I'm not convinced that that's not correct, so we'll see.
If I take the Twitter stuff, I feel like it was like there was a lot of people who were very excited. It feels like early Shane McMahon. If like, yeah, he's like do all this, we're gonna love it, and then it's just like, no, maybe not.
Yeah, and I've seen people
Shane
like,
McMahon.
Yeah.
I wonder if Frenchie is gonna be one of those one of the super fans who goes in there and burns out really quickly because he's seen as gaming really fast. And then not only that, but I could also see him like making big moves for big moves' sake and as well. So I mean all that to say, I think I would go with Heath Slater. I do. I think I would go with the Heath Slater comparison still, because that whole we don't know if he'll flame out. You know what I'm saying? Like he could be really, really good and he could just flame out in a sense. Unfortunately, Heath Slater had a great run and then they did nothing with him. So I think that's what I'll go with. Are you guys willing to concede, or we want to fight this out?
I got kids.
He literally starts with that. Yeah.
Yeah, Heath Slater. Yeah.
All right. So who do we have next here? We're getting through it. We still have a lot of people. There's so many people on this cast. Pooya, I saw it like your stream. You did it twice, and we are going to get through these people though. So next we have Travis Long. Another person who people are talking about on BB Twitter. I mean, honestly, Travis didn't give me much in his bio. Let's see. He's
rambunctious.
Total bro. His favorites were Brett and Winston. He loved when Brett lied on Rockstar. I really think he's screaming recruit to me. Nothing much about his bio really makes me think that he actually is a fan of Big Brother. Actually, it feels like he only watched one season that they may have given him in Sequester.
Or the most recent one.
His fun fact that he's been sued a bunch. What?
Yeah, what kind of claim to fame is that? Yeah, big companies have come after me.
He's weird, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Let's just make he's the Stone Cold Steve Austin of Big Brother, clearly.
Oh yeah, and this is the one he's a published author. He has a kid's book on Amazon. Do
you want to write a kid's book now and put it on Amazon tonight? We could do it.
You could do it. Anybody could do it. But the simple fact that the kids' book is teaching kids about stranger danger, I'm like, okay, so we're fear mongering in children. Like it's not even like an uplifting thing. It's like, be scared, please.
Drag him, Mari, for fear mongering children.
I am. I mean, he's 22. He's young. I mean, if there's anybody in that house willing to showmance, which I think there's one girl. I don't know if we went over her yet, but
was it Whitney?
Yeah, but I think we didn't know if Whitney was. Whitney has a son, but we didn't know.
We don't. Whitney's single and ready to mingle.
Single man, yeah. So. Yeah, he maybe a Chloe situation we might get, but but anyways, I just think I don't know this. If we're guys, if we're talking Matt Riddle,
that was my Matt Riddle.
This is Riddle.
Everybody's Matt Riddle.
This is Riddle.
Riddle, yeah.
He's wicked obsessed with cinema. I love that. Wicked obsessed.
What a brain. He is jacked as well. Again, another member of the Jacked Club is this guy. He did a skit for Barstool that went viral. And in this skit, he plays the role of a male thought. His words, not mine. And that is a thing that he does. And it's so first my chat told me there's a clip, you should watch it. It was like 40 seconds. By the end of the stream, someone had found a 6-minute clip.
6 minutes, yeah.
And I was like, I'm not watching this. Like, this is this is too much.
I skipped around the 6 minutes. I was like, wow, y'all really committed to this whole like, documentary style shoot of this skit. It was not the one, guys. But at least it was a skit. We all recognize it was a skit. Because he immediately was saying like he wanted to continue saying where the hose at or something like that. So people were getting riled up about it. But it was a skit. Barstool, not big fans, but I mean he's here. He's here to bro it up. He's our Our required bro for the season.
I do know that our buddy Jacob Jones has friends who know him, so he might be our. I should message him. Let me message him and see what he tells us.
Yeah,
and then we'll get back.
King Jacob, yes. Grace, did you have anything about Travis here?
Oh, I think we nailed it. I think we got it. I think we got it. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, yeah. I feel like we can move on here.
Yeah, we made
this was one of the ones where it's like we could spend time elsewhere knowing we can skip this one because it's easy.
It's so easy. And please, if you're checking us out on YouTube, you can see all of the cast photos. Next, we have Alyssa, 24 from Florida. Alyssa, I liked Alyssa's bio, but I'm not gonna lie, I had to read it a few times because I kept getting her confused with some of the other girls. Pooya, what did you think of Alyssa?
Alyssa's interesting because Alyssa's the first photo I saw, the first bio I saw today. But then also by the second website I looked at, she was the last bio. So Alyssa is a swimwear designer, is putting out new swimwear, is from Florida. Very confusing because Alyssa's she's a big fan of the show since 11 years old, but then also cited Jessica from BB19 as her all-time favorite player, which I personally found very interesting. But then this was me this morning when I was checking out. Then later today, I found out that Alyssa's a bigger fan than I thought because Alyssa has photos with other Big Brother people. And Alyssa, there's a Twitter account that always puts out like, "Ooh, here's the perspective, the challenge cast," right? They always have that information ahead of time. And they knew who Alyssa was because apparently Alyssa was on a list at some point for X on the Beach. So Alyssa's not unfamiliar with these circles by the sounds of what I'm seeing, and has interacted with Josh and BB19 Josh and a couple other people. So Alyssa's someone who I feel like is not playing games with both her fandom and her involvement in this community, clearly, because she both enjoyed the show enough to watch it since 11 years, and then also to interact with people in this world. So
yeah, she's gorgeous too. So I mean, that will definitely help her make it far. Matt, you had something?
So she said in her bio that she's never left Sarasota, Florida, which to me feels a little concerning. You have to get out of Florida. So that's the big.
Is that just general advice to anybody?
Yes, that was not me. I wasn't even commenting on it. You have to get out. Get out. Get out.
Get out.
I don't know. It just seemed like she also. I get the sense that maybe she would be a big Jeff fan. I don't know why I have that sense, but there was something in the bio where she mentioned him. Yeah. I have no clue. Maybe I just made that up. I don't think I made it up.
She was one of the ones who said there was a lot again. Yeah,
when Jeff used his secret power,
the coup d'état.
Yeah.
He loved that the power shifted to him and Jordan. Really interesting that she's watched. Like we said, she's watched, but then she referenced one of the ones we just they
it's one of those things like. Maybe she just really related to. So when I said that, someone in my chat was like, "Wait, coming from the Kaser fan," I'm like, "Yeah, but the dude was on like 4 seasons. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was on hella more. Like, he's part of the legend of the story." But I mean, if you connect with a house guest, who am I to tell you that is not a valid choice for you? So 11 since 11, this is the one you pick. Hey, that's your pick. Like I respect.
Maybe that's it. And he has been around. He's been around on stuff, so maybe not a horrible choice.
I mean, I am someone. I have such a bad memory, and then when somebody's like, "What's your favorite episode of the thing?" and I'm like, "Oh, I can't remember any episodes of anything ever." Like, I don't know. Maybe that was her. She's like, Jessica Cody. I really like Jessica Cody. And later she starts to remember more. She starts talking about Tyler later. You know, she talks about Jeff.
She does.
Yeah. So
I love the one thing that I really loved about her bio is she wants to win the first HOH, and I was just like, hallelujah. Like, I love like the strategy of not trying to win the first HOH is so asinine now, because like the way that the last few seasons have played out, you have to win that first HOH because the people have to come to you for the conversations. But then, as we saw in BB Can 9, you can win the first HOH, but if you don't utilize it properly, like Austin did, then it could be it won't matter. So I like that enthusiasm for winning the first HOH, but I'm wondering if she'll, since she's such a super fan and she has this strategy, I wonder if she'll be able to adapt, because that's what the better players should be able to do on the off chance that whatever you originally started, either be Alliance or whatever, crumbles. Can you adapt and make your way through? So I like her bio. I like her bio. I think she has a lot of the stuff to make it pretty far. Let's get Matt's wrestling pick first.
We're going with Carmella. We're going to go with Carmella, the Princess of Staten Island.
The most beautiful woman in WWE.
That's her moniker currently. And I just get a lot of those vibes. I always felt like with Carmella, she's very Staten Island. Like, I didn't feel like she really truly left. I get that from Alyssa with Sarasota. I think there are probably other comparisons. I think being a swimwear designer, maybe Carmella would be a swimwear designer gimmick. Maybe that was on the writer's table at some point. So Carmella.
Her wrestling outfits are kind of like swimwear. Kind of.
Yeah, exactly. She does kind of look like she wears swimwear pretty often. So it all fits.
Okay, Pooya, who you got?
I went with Nikki Bella.
Oh, this is where you went with Nikki Bella?
Okay. Yeah.
You can look, but you can't touch.
I don't know. I kind of felt with Alyssa, like I got the vibes of Alyssa, someone who watched this as a fan, right? And then starts like meeting people and like getting involved, and then now is about to embark on her own journey. And I think has enough knowledge to know to go for that first HH, which makes me feel very optimistic that she knows her stuff. And I think I'm probably going to lean in more with what Grace said, where maybe some of this bio is like a spur of the moment. I'm just going to press send. Like, I'm not going to bother doing, like, I'm not going to think about it anymore. Just get it out of here. When I fill forms, I'm like that. I'm like, the sooner I do this, the sooner I don't have to look back at this again.
Yeah.
So
100%. Yeah,
for me, like Nikki Bella ends up, there was a long time where Nikki Bella, the Bella twins specifically, were okay. So they're going to hit this spot, and then one of them's going to roll in, do the roll up. The fresh one, they're going to do like a no tag. The ref's not going to see it. And then they end up both forming, quite frankly, their own legacy to the point where they're in the Hall of Fame. So give me Nikki Bella. Give me Nikki Bella for Alyssa here.
Yeah. Agreed. But I had Zelina Vega for her because when Zelina Vega first premiered, she was like no nonsense. She was whipping Andrade into shape. She's smart. She's cunning. She knows how to get the job done. I love Zelina Vega for Alyssa here.
All right. Here's it might be a reach. She's watched for a long time. So she's been, in the business for a while. She wants to come in and win the first HOH. I was thinking of who came in really hot, on their first night. And so the person I had was Paige. Paige is a legacy, right? Her parents wrestler. She came in very young age, won the women's title on her first night. It's not perfect. I didn't have a ton for Alyssa, but that's sort of where I went. I mean, the thing is hard to give her like Paige won her title on the first night. It's Alyssa might come in and never win an HOH ever. So it's hard to be like, give it, but she wants to come in hot was sort of my thing. Yeah.
When you said that, I was like, oh my God, Grace is going to say Sheamus. Because I'm like, Sheamus won the title very early on. I was like, it's going to be Sheamus, but no, I'm okay. I could actually jump ship for Paige. I could.
This is rough.
I'll go Paige. I'm cool with that. Yeah, wait, no.
What are our choices? So Zelina Vega, Carmella, Paige, and Nikki Bella.
What was what? I don't. This is rough.
This is really hard. I think I'll go with I'll stick with. I want to go with Nikki Bella. Actually, I want Pooya to stand in the truth. Let's go with Nikki.
No,
I feel like I'm most likely to switch to Carmella, but then we're deadlocked. So
well,
we could deadlock it and flip a coin.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, we did not. Sorry, guys, we didn't think of this. Like, I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with flipping a coin.
That's not great for podcasting. Does anyone have a coin?
Oh, that's true. I do not
it's
have
2021.
Oh, a physical coin?
I think we flip our debit cards now.
A physical coin.
Mari. So I got the coin. All right. Are you cool with, okay, heads is Carmella, tails is Nikki Bella.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Let's go. Get that. We do that. All right. And the result is, the suspense is horrible. It's heads. Look at that. It is heads, folks.
So
it is
we're
heads.
going with Carmella.
Carmella it is.
I'm okay with that.
Coin has decided.
Nice.
Look at that.
Alyssa is Carmella. I'm okay with that. I have better hopes for Alyssa than what Carmella is doing right now. No offense to Carmella, but
Burn, she's definitely listening.
You know what? As the coin was in the air, I did think I wanted to switch to Nikki Bella. No, I'm just kidding.
So, yeah,
I was wrong.
We will go with Carmella. We got a few more. Let's blast through them so we can get up out of here. So next we have Tiffany. She's 40. She's our oldest house guest. It doesn't really look like she is a fan to me. Let's see. Yeah, we didn't get much from her bio. She says she has an alter ego. Her strategy is to learn everything about people and then to keep her mouth shut. So a little bit of kind of going back to Devon there, a little bit where Devon was like she couldn't keep her mouth shut. So I mean, I like Tiffany. I think that depending on what her place in the house ends up being, again, she might fall into the mother character because of her age. Hopefully nobody calls her mama, like Pooya said, but really not much from her. What are y'all thoughts? Who wants to go first? Y'all can choose.
Just quickly Googling phlebotomist again.
Oh,
yeah.
It's the taking of blood.
Mm-hmm. She's into blood.
Hey. I am actually a certified phlebotomist as well.
Oh, cool.
It comes included in my medical technology degree. I actually had to do a whole week of rounds where I just did 2 weeks where I just did phlebotomy, and you're literally drawing people's blood. They're the people who come to your hospital room. If you're in the hospital for long periods of time, they come and they draw your blood. Or if you have to go and get your titers ran, they'll come and draw your blood. Anytime you got to get blood drawn, yeah, they come to you, you go to them. It's a very underrated, underappreciated profession. So shout out to all of our phlebotomists out there. We see you.
Shout
you
out
guys
to
are
Mari.
the GOAT. Yes, I said I'm certified in it. That don't mean I didn't do it. That is a hard job to do. But let me say this: when you're a phlebotomist, because I worked in multiple hospital labs, and we work with phlebotomists very closely as techs. So you have to be so personable. You have to be really friendly. You have to put people at ease because you have a big old needle coming at them. Mm-hmm. And most phlebotomists are really nice, amazing people, or they can pretend to be very nice, amazing people, which either way in Big Brother, I'm okay with. So that's why I'm really excited to see what Tiffany can do. Again, real recruit energy here, but people have learned on the job before. So I'm very interested to see what she can do. Mm-hmm. Grace,
if I went into a lab to get my blood work done, then I go, then there would be a phlebotomist. Yes. Is that right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know I had my own phlebotomist. I basically do, because I have diabetes. I have to get blood work done every 3 months. Yeah. I go into the lab, and my phlebotomist is my favorite person ever. She's the best. She's so nice. So wow. I feel like that's actually information that is actually very pertinent. I think it actually is useful information. I do. The age diversity in this cast is not super great. I wish it was there was a bit more, representation of older people. And Tiffany is not that old. It's just like it sucks that she is the oldest person in this house. That might be something that is could be a challenge for her. But again, this is the thing of like, without seeing the videos to see how personable somebody is, it's hard to know. And I feel like it's so funny based on that piece of information. I do feel like she has a better chance to slip in into like a larger group and be somebody that people trust and turn to. So yeah, I think that she could do well. I also just worry that she could be an early boot because, you know, maybe she's a little bit on the outs, as we've seen before. Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I'm not great with blood, but I got hung up on the blood thing. And I just was just trying to think of like a hardcore wrestler. Like if I mean, honestly, I would have gone with like a Terry Funk or someone like that who's just like bleeding everywhere. But I don't know if anyone else went that direction or if there was something else that stood out that you went with.
For the wrestler themselves.
Yeah.
She has cats, so I went with Natalya.
Natalya as well.
She's older. Wow. She's like the elder of the women's division. I feel like it's a good fit.
And it will always still get overlooked despite everything.
Yeah.
I feel like Natalya is someone who's been around so long, is still respected, but never in the top 3 in conversation ever.
Exactly.
Like with any roster you can think of that any era WWE's in, it's like, yeah, well, okay, so there's Beth Phoenix and XYZ. Oh, okay, so there's Sasha, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte. Like there's never Natalya's never in the top 3 at any given time. So to me, like, you know, that's a vibe.
I'm down. I'm going with that. I like that.
Mari, who else were you thinking about?
I honestly, I could not place her. The only other person person I was thinking was maybe like Stephanie McMahon in her like later day, like this version of Stephanie McMahon, I am the person who started the women's evolution, the very like uplifting version of Stephanie McMahon. But that's all I had gotten. So I actually really like the Natalya.
I'm very curious what this alter ego thing is that Tiffany's alluding to.
That's just a bomb to drop and move on.
Yeah,
right?
The only other time I can think of anyone bringing up alter ego in a bio was, I believe, for Survivor. Didn't Sydney talk about Storm as an alter ego at some point? This might be I might be misremembering, but like I'm curious what this. Oh no, you know what? We had Judas. We had Austin had Judas as an alter ego. Yeah. So what is Tiffany's Judas? We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, will we find out?
Did you have somebody that?
I like the idea of Natalya, but I wrote down Shayna Baszler because I was just thinking like she chomped into Becky Lynch's neck that one time, and I was like, oh, that's it. So we're gonna go with Natty in this case.
It's not like when they're drawing blood, they're just like, you know, spewing everywhere.
I don't know.
Safely into a vial.
That messy.
If you're doing it the right way, but honestly, I don't know her.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you don't know her life. Oh, that's funny. I'm excited. Like, again, recruit aside, I do want to see what Tiffany brings to the table. She might have the social aspect down, but maybe the strategic or just the game fundamentals might escape her. So next we have Xavier, who is 27. He's a lawyer. And might I add, he is some eye candy. Eye candy. Xavier seems, it looks like he has at least a little bit of BB knowledge here. He's a big fan of Chilltown. Pooya pointed out enough to say RIP to
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Right.
Chilltown. He's also a fan of the Hitmen. He says he can't wait to participate in everything in the house, including Zingbot. So again, I think he's a fan. I don't know how long, and we're not about to judge fandoms on how long, but he also said he liked Danielle Reyes. So we might have a super fan here, but we just do not know as of yet. He has a picture here on CBS that's just him in front of some bushes, but then I think his US Weekly picture had him in like a suit. So I mean, I'm digging Xavier. I like it. I like everything about it. Matt, what are your thoughts on Xavier?
He doesn't like coffee, and I don't like that about him.
A big.
The only
like, why would you? Oh, that's a red flag because what you're gonna use your bio? You're gonna take up character space in your bio to be a coffee hater? Do you really want us to come for you?
Rob brought up something that I actually put it into perspective a little bit. I feel like this is something. It's one of those things where it's like when people hear he doesn't like coffee, they get out like, "What? You don't like coffee?" And he's always had to defend this. So I think he put it in there because he's like, "I know people will say something. Let me address it up front." It's almost like one of those things potentially with him where it's just like there because it's been instilled in him that this is something people find weird about you. So bring it up as a fun fact because it's a weird thing for not like coffee, which is funny because I think someone else in the cast was like, "I love coffee. I need coffee. I operate on coffee." So it was like the polar opposite. But everything else from Xavier, I loved. I caught Liana slacking today. She was looking at the cast. And I felt her linger on Xavier's profile too. I'm like, "Oh, just scroll down, ma'am. Move on, move on." But like, I can recognize this man is amazing. Like, I posted a picture in our chat for y'all. He is amazing. But I was like, Liana, stop it, please, please.
Yeah,
he checks all my boxes. Yeah, we move. He's phenomenal.
He also checks many of my boxes.
Yeah. And mine.
There you go. Look at he probably really mad.
I said I'm gonna put in the effort and pull
I'm gonna put this
up
on the video. Yeah, this is
like,
going
I
on.
Gotta bring up this Instagram. Yeah.
I'm gonna get rid of it though because I'm hearing like some salvation, not salivation. And some salvation
over here. Yeah, we gotta get this. This is too much. That's too much for the YouTube watchers. He has the fandom. You know, he's pretty fit, so this team situation can really help him. If he can make some decent allies, this could be a long road for him. This could be another front runner. This could be your champion. So I picked Bobby Lashley.
Oh my god.
Yes, yes. I went Bobby Lashley. He got everything. He got the championship. He got the ladies. He got the smarts. I think Xavier is be Bobby Lashley.
Mari, we share the same pick. I also went with Bobby. I was like, if I think he's top of the food chain, there's no one else top of the food chain like Bobby Lashley is at the moment.
No. Roman Reigns is top of the food chain, and he was my pick.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to be quite honest.
Yeah, I was looking. I mean, I feel like the thing with like maybe not Roman Reigns as much. I was trying to look at somebody like I feel like the equivalent of like of a super fan in wrestling is like the like technical wrestler that the internet fans like love, right? It's like so, and so my brain kind of went to Cesaro, of like kind of like, but I feel like he's maybe Cesaro sort of has a thing where he's never really been like super charismatic enough to like So then I was like, then I did go to sort of Roman Reigns. I think Lashley is a good call. But like Cesaro was in that, he did have that time where he was like, the suit, like he almost was like James Bondy, Cesaro, I thought that was like an interesting comparison, but again, it might just be bald hair and a beard. Like Cesaro, I think maybe. But I think it was like the technical, being the classically, good wrestler is sort of the equivalent to being a super fan. Like Twitter is just like, it's like referencing Daniel Reyes. Like we love him,
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That's how you make BB Twitter fall in love with you. You mentioned the queen, Daniel Reyes. So where are we going? Are y'all going to just come over here?
I'll get on board with Lash. Yeah, we're on. Clean sweep for Lashley.
Again, another person I'm really excited about this like whole cast, to be quite honest.
I love the cast.
Yeah, it's amazing. Again, we say this is what I love about Big Brother preseason. We love the cast right now.
So much hope.
Yes, so much hope.
I will never forget, y'all. I will never forget the most memorable like 360, the 180 for me was Winston. I remember people being like, "Yo, he knows his stuff. Like he seems good." That premiere night. Yeah, I take my gun everywhere. And then you'd see is like when he was like doing the weird eye stuff on the feeds and like losing his mind. I was like, oh, we were wrong. We were wrong. Same thing with Nick Macaroni. I feel like a lot of people were like, he works with children. He knows what's going on. Nope, he doesn't know anything. Yeah,
he said he would stand up to bullying. Like it was so funny with Winston. Like I know I picked him first in my draft that year, but when he had when he had the gun promo, we were like, "Oh my God, why is CBS doing this to him? That's not him." And then we were like, "Oh,
you gave him more hope." You're like, "This is." Like,
I mean, for some people, owning guns is a personality trait, and that was the case for Winston. So
exactly, like guns for protection, we get you. Personality trait. He kissed it. He kissed it in his intro.
He kissed the gun.
I'm pretty sure he kissed the gun if I remember correctly. So next we have Sarah, who's 27, who is a forensic scientist, who is also a Comic-Con anime fan. Okay, I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring here again. I actually do have a degree in forensic science as well.
Degrees
on degrees.
Pull up Mari's LinkedIn.
Lots of science. We do science over here. Which kind of worries me, to be quite honest, because I'm a lab tech, because I love forensic science, it's mostly so I can be away from people. Like when it comes to working, I like working alone. I really do. Being on podcasts and stuff, love that portion.
Oh, phew.
Like working alone, though. I know, right?
I was getting fired.
So, this is a heel turn from Mari. Heel chair to the back.
Yeah. So I wonder if she says sweet, she has quirky, self-driven, she likes anime, giving off a lot of nerdy vibes, which is fine. Love me a good nerd, but is it a nerd that can be social? Is she a social nerd? And from what we understand just from this bio, I'm not so sure. She says she wants to float. She said in the bio she wanted to float, which to me can mean be house paint on the walls. So, or
she might mean like float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Nope, not a butterfly, because she's gonna kill all the butterflies.
Wreck the ecosystem.
She hates insects. She says she hates ants, which I'm like, girl, you about to have a lot of ants. She's making the Big Brother house sound like Survivor, so I'm kind of afraid that she might not even be able to like stomach the situation itself.
She wants to bring an MP3 player. Who still has an MP3 player?
She better win HOH.
I guess they do, right? I guess they do. What do they get when they're in the HOH?
Right? Yeah, it's a little.
Is it an iPod now?
I feel like it might be an iPod. Yeah.
What's that called? A CD? Maybe they get a CD player.
In this picture,
a Walkman.
She Walkman, yes. New girl vibes in the picture as well.
It's the bangs.
What are you feeling about Sarah, Matt?
I honestly, so when I read forensic scientist, to go through my qualifications here. When I was in high school, I did take a forensic science class, and all we did was watch documentaries about people murdering other people. So I pictured Sarah. Sarah gave me Sarah Koenig vibes. I'm picturing her doing the podcast, finding the murderers, and that was like the initial thought that I had, but then kind of like going on, she's a cosplayer. She is just like definitely someone who would be fun to watch in this house if she's as afraid of everything that she talked about as she claims. So I mean, normally I wouldn't be into this character, but I'm into this. I'm into what she's gonna bring.
Like I can definitely be into her I'm just afraid for her, like if she just does not make any connections, if she just tries to stay safe, if she just doesn't try to assert herself socially, because this is the type of archetype that needs to be social in order to survive. And from what we saw, so Pooya, how do you think of her fandom? Because all she's referencing, I see her referencing BB14, little bit of BB16, right? So what do you think she's at in the fandom here?
I mean, like Frank and Bridget is part of her favorite duos, which I don't even think that's like Bridget would pick Frank and Bridget. No one's picking this as their favorite duo. So this was a choice. But I did see, for me, the thing that makes me think is she knows about the ant problem in the house. And I
Mhm.
feel like that's more of a feedster, big like online Big Brother community thing. But then someone did tell me that they kind of reference it a lot in BB16 potential on the show proper. So maybe that's where that comes from. I don't see. Yeah, I don't see
16
a lot.
16
Yeah.
has the RHAP, like the
The
America's
Batman
Team
rat.
USA.
Yeah.
So
So
there
that's
Yeah.
it could have come up. It could have come up maybe. So for me, I like understanding what your role is. If Sarah's coming in and thinking, listen, I know that I'm not built to have the best strategic game. I'm not built to have the best social game. I'm going to play the best floater game because that's what I can do. I'm not mad at that. But I do think in order to even float like that, you got to have some social capabilities. And I think Sarah will self-destruct if she is in trouble in the beginning. So what Sarah needs is literally safety to just like do the social stuff. So as long as no one's looking at her that first week, I think she'll be fine for the long haul or become a casualty in like the third week over someone else's feud. Something
Much
like
like
that.
a Ian and a Steve, we're thinking here needs to.
If you survive the first week, you can do something.
Yeah, I think the thing in here, like, so it's like the what's the strategy, and she talks about floating, but then there's this line. It's like once they realize I'm only playing for myself, hopefully it'll be too late to stop me. And to me, that's like the thing of like too late to stop you. Like what are you going to be doing? Like that's where I have a tough time. And this is one of those things where I hope like Sarah listens to this after the season, and it like makes me eat my words that like she has something in her back pocket. I hope so. It would be very fun. I would love it. I'm just not sure where I like see it in the rest of this bio to be like, okay, she's like gonna take the like sleep for half the season and then turn it on. Like I don't see what she's turning on exactly, but maybe she has it.
She gives me big LARPer vibes. Like, she mentioned something about like making weapons and seamstressing.
And wigs.
Well, she's big into big into anime and cosplay and mangas. So was she the one who also talked about taking a book to maintain her Japanese knowledge?
Yeah, Japanese language textbooks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she might definitely connect with, I think, at least one other guy in this house with the whole anime and cosplay knowledge. So I'm very interested. Like I said, I'm very interested to see all of these people play. But Matt, who do you have for her wrestler avatar?
All based on the cosplay, and it's tough because a lot of wrestlers kind of cosplay. Alexa Bliss is my person for her just because of the cosplaying. But I'm curious to hear who you came up with. I mean, Mari, who did you come up with?
Back at me. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I actually, because she kind of like faded into the background for me a little bit. I had I'm looking at the roster right now because I had it and I just lost it. But I Liv Morgan, kind of like maybe not the same attitude as Liv Morgan, but like if she might have like the ability to do it, but she has to be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like she has to like actually step up and get the job done. So yeah, I think that's what I was leaning towards. I was leaning towards a Liv Morgan, but I'm not sold on it. Pooya, who'd you have?
So for me, I went off the whole like the sweetness, the quirkiness, and then add in like the the anime side of things, a little bit of the I went with like in my head Babyface Bailey was like kind of like the closest of what I could think, because I think she's kind of just gonna be like the sweet one, and that, but it's so hard with her because I was like, I need someone who's like really really nice, but then I don't think she's got like the push that Bailey has to like hit the the main event. So I couldn't give her that. And like the other person that came to mind isn't on this list would have been AJ Lee again, because of the then it would have been for the anime side of things. But I don't see her as main event. To me, Sarah is the epitome of, oh, you got to be on the season. That's good for you. Like I don't see her doing well. So I could be convinced anywhere. I don't really feel confident in my Babyface Bailey pick anyway.
So I have a bunch that I think like there's like this like archetype in WWE of like the comedy, like kind of kooky, like pretty out there, which I could see her being this person. And so there's sort of like it from the game. I could see like Billie Kay sort of energy a bit.
Okay.
Maybe Nikki Cross was another one I thought in like her more recent babyface run, where she is a little bit more like, especially when she was teaming with Alexa Bliss, was much more of the like bubblier than she was like when she used to be with Sanity, of like the like, wow, she's like crazy.
Yeah.
And then the last one that I kind of like was like Alicia Fox. Remember when Alicia Fox was doing the like sailor hat? Captain. She's like team captain.
Yeah.
That kind of made me think like cosplay.
Love it.
So I'm all over the board, I think.
I know. I think it's because we don't get much from her bio and we don't know much about her fandom. But
Dakota Kai could be one too, I thought, in terms of the bubbly personality thing, but I don't know. I
would counter all those, and I just remembered my original pick. Candice LeRae.
Yeah, but that's a good pick. Well, early Candice LeRae. Yeah.
Because Candice LeRae came in all bubbles, all smiles, you know, indie darling. I think she's a anime comic book type person, if I remember correctly.
I believe so.
Her and Johnny.
Well, Johnny dresses up like he has all the, not that they're the same person, but every takeover, John, he's like Wolverine and then Iron Man and then whatever. So I think they both are big comic book fans.
Exactly.
Nerd.
So I'm thinking.
Wow.
So that's what I'm thinking. I think, and then like Pooya said, not reaching the main event. Candice LeRae has just now been able to like push through.
Win a title.
So.
All right. That's it. I'm
good with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Candice LeRae it is.
All right. All right. We are rolling. We are rolling.
Rocking and rolling.
Oh, yeah.
Rocking and rolling. So next up, let's see. We have Christy. Christy is a professional dancer. She is also vegan, which good luck in that house, man. She loves the Hitman and Haley, but she stressed for their loyalty, which we do not like the loyalty. Cut their throats, man. Again, I'm not getting super fan vibes from her. Matt, what do you think? What do you think about Christy here?
All I've got, she likes to dance a lot.
Right.
She probably has a good two-step, maybe a good Macarena, like an electric slide. But that was like the bulk of what I got from her. I don't think that I don't know if Christy will be fun to watch, but the one thing is, and she doesn't go into it, but there's some line in her bio about like, there's a secret to why I don't have hair, and maybe I'll drop that on people. Yeah. I don't like these cliffhangers. We need to be in the know.
I'll put you in the know. I know exactly what's happened here. Yeah.
There's a video.
Fun fact. Yeah, Christy is the first ever bald front page of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit. First ever bald model. This was last year, and in the blurb, she talks about her journey with alopecia. So that is so what I will say though, that doesn't answer the question of what Christy meant. I said this earlier today. I'm still thinking about it. Does this mean that Christy is going to hide her baldness with a wig? And
that's what I was wondering.
Right. Or is Christy just not going to tell them why she is bald? Like, I'm not sure. And I don't see it being something that will affect her game. Right. I don't see how that could work to your benefit.
Do you know what really sucks about the fact of if she's going to go in and be this, like, you know, she's going to be, you know, open about being bald, and wants to keep sort of why that's happened a secret. I feel like that immediately, like, it's unfortunate that will probably make people not trust her, and that sucks because as it's like a medical personal thing. I hope that that's not what happens, because she certainly has the right to like not disclose why she, you know, if it's a medical condition or whatever. So it's just really like a unique thing that I'm not sure. You know, we talk about like reality shows being social experiments. I really hope that like if she's like, I don't really, you know, don't want to talk about it, or she says it's something else, they're just like, okay, okay, great. Like, move on. I don't know. It's very, I don't know if I want to call it interesting or fascinating, but I guess it is. I don't know.
Yeah. And like the thing I would throw out there too, is it's this thing where like someone decides to lie about a thing. And let's assume that that's the direction that she's going in, where she like maybe doesn't want to share this with the other house guests. Someone has the weight of like not telling the truth or lying about something, and then people are like, she seems a little guarded for some reason, like I don't know what it is, but people pick up on that on Survivor, on Big Brother, and I don't think that works for people. And so that's the one part that I kind of worry about with this. I have a lot of questions, but I hope that it doesn't last long. Like maybe what's happening here is that this is what we're getting in the bio. And then like night one, she's just going to be like, here's who I am. And that would be really amazing to see. But it's curious to think what she means.
One other thing I'm gonna say, recently with the vaccine distribution in Canada and the United States, I as someone who lives with a couple of chronic conditions, I make this joke recently. It's like, I've never been so excited to have diabetes and colitis. Like I get boosted, I get jumped to the front of the line. It's like, and finally in my life, it's like this like good thing. It's like and so if she has a way to like turn living with alopecia into some sort of advantage in the game, like all power to you, because like you live with this condition, and if you like get to like use it in the game for like some good comes out of it, I'm more than happy for her. I don't necessarily see where it's going to happen, but I hope she can figure that out. So
yeah, I've just been scrolling her Instagram this whole time. She's like a legit influencer. And she has her own company called the Ball Tourage, which is on her neck. Very famous. I don't think she'll have trouble getting along with people, but yeah, it'll be interesting. She does wear wigs sometimes on her Instagram, so
I get the sense that this is maybe somebody who doesn't totally know what she's getting herself into in terms of Big Brother, and yet at the same time, I have a little bit of confidence that she will just be able to sort of figure it out.
Yeah,
I think get in there and sort of like be sociable enough that like can carry herself through a little bit, while not totally knowing like what it's going to be like when she's in there. So.
The one comparison that was drawn from Mike Bloom in my chat today, Mike Bloom said she is easily the most likely to become Christmas 2.0. Apparently Mike found a lot of similarities between the two. I mean, Christy's the one who did bring up that her favorite Big Brother moment was when Haley was honest to Bailey about being the hacker. I was like, well, that is, she loved how mature, loyal, and respectable it was. And I thought, red flag, triple red flag. All right.
So for that reason, I actually picked Ruby Riott for her, because she seems like a badass. She values loyalty, and she has 11 piercings. 5 of them she did herself. Fun fact. She her Instagram is popping. Like she's out there. She's spreading the word about how being bald is beautiful as well. So I mean, I like her. I want to see, I do want to see what she's like in the house, because I do not think her fandom runs very deep here. She references season 16 and season 20 in her bio, so I think she's gonna have to learn on the fly. Pooya, what was your pick?
It was between, I didn't end up writing one. I had Ruby Riott / Rhea Ripley, and I didn't quite know which direction I wanted to go in. This kind of, we go back to the conversation of, do I see Christy as a genuine contender, therefore main eventer, therefore Rhea Ripley, or not? Because I could go either way. I could be persuaded. So
Matt?
I went a different direction, actually. So I went with Nikki Bella for her, and I was between the different Bella twins, between Brie, I think more from like the vegan angle, but Nikki from the dancing angle, and I landed on Nikki because I feel like Nikki, she probably loves a stiff spicy margarita. She probably doesn't have a problem with vegan cooking, other things that were mentioned here, and so I'm gonna go with Nikki Bella. Grace.
I went with Brie Bella. Vegan. She owns a company called Diva Dance. I just thought it fit, Brie mode.
Brie mode.
That's where I went.
Okay.
I don't really get the I get where you're going with the Ruby Riott, Rhea Ripley thing. I just don't think that's actually her vibe. I don't think that that's really like the vibe that she will give off. Yeah.
Is she on TikTok?
She's on Instagram. I have her Instagram, but I don't have her TikTok.
I mean, I feel like we're between Ruby Riott and Brie Bella.
I think so. I would bring that down to that.
I would go with. I think I would go with Brie Bella here. Oh, I found a TikTok if anyone's interested as well. There's not Alyssa. It's more like the TikToks. None of them do like memes. It's all dancing. So unless you think you're gonna get anything out of the dancing, that's what I would say. I would go with Brie Bella. I think I like what Grace brought up.
Here's the other reason. Go ahead.
No, because I was about to say she seems like she just wants to stick with somebody and keep it pushing. What?
Also, if we pick Brie Bella, when Matt runs the simulation, he gets to hear the greatest entrance music of all time. Which, if you've never heard Brie Bella's solo entrance music, you need to pull it up. It's just an auto-tuned Brie mode. It's great. It's tremendous.
Grace, maybe I'll like skip over most of the entrances, but I'll have to leave that one in.
Keep Brie,
just for a split second.
All right, so we got Christy as Brie Bella, and we are
keep pushing.
moving. Whitney, 30 from Portland. Okay, so Whitney is seems like a super fan. She's a huge fan. But she does reference Jeff and Jordan as the cutest couple in BB history. She talks about nothing but showmances. She talks about Jess and Cody. She's a Brentchel fan, so she loves a good showmance here. She also loves guns. We found out from her TikTok. She thinks she's a matchmaker, so we don't know if she'll be in a showmance, but she's gonna at least try to get other people in the showmance. I would assume. Grace, what do you feel? How do you feel about Whitney here?
Yeah, I mean, I like that she, knows the game, but I do worry about how much showmance information is in there. That's what she try to choose as her strategy, pick somebody, and run with it. And the part that sucks is that it's very successful. It's a pretty good strategy in this game. So yeah. I mean, she has a lot. She says a lot in this. So I'll take that over somebody who doesn't give us anything. So
exactly.
Well,
yeah. Pooya?
I can now say, based on doing research on her TikTok, I believe Whitney is single and ready to mingle. Nice. So that's one point. And that makes me feel more confident now that Whitney would probably be prime candidate to find a showmance in the house.
I think so as well.
Yeah, and I think that, and I think though the thing is, right, I think what I don't think we've talked about yet is that this is the first true season that is coming post, not like right as we're starting to move away from the pandemic, but that doesn't erase the fact that there was a year of isolation with family. So when everyone in their bios is like, I'm gonna miss my family, I think the parents are gonna miss their kids more than anyone's gonna miss their like cousin or aunt. Like so I think Whitney for me is prime candidate of someone who's gonna really miss her children.
I think she'll be. I think she'll be happy to get away from her kids. If Rob Sesterino's taught me anything, it's that you gotta get away for a few months. Like it's a good vacation from the kids. So maybe it might go the opposite direction. Maybe she really will be happy to be away from her kids. I will say though, to your point, Pooya, that she does reference her kids here a bit, and so we'll see how she's adjusted to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has two. It looks like she has two sons. I found her Instagram. Yeah, and she's very pretty. She's a makeup artist. So with a lot of BB knowledge. So I think she'll go far. Again, she'll have the tools. I think she'll have the tools. I guess we'll see what happens when she actually gets into the house. She referenced Derrick and Dan's funeral like half the cast did. I don't know. So let's see. What did I give? I said that I think Lacey Evans. Whitney is Lacey Evans. She talks about her children. She likes guns, and she seems to be a fan of America.
Did you have two people as Lacey Evans? Did you hedge your bets?
No, I didn't.
Matt had someone, right?
Matt,
Evans,
yeah.
Matt had a Lacey Evans?
Okay. Yeah, I think I might still have a Lacey Evans somewhere. And no,
there's only 2 men left.
We passed over. We passed over her.
This is my Lacey Evans. I had Lacey Evans here.
Awesome. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think this is easy. I think easy. But yeah, go Matt.
Oh, well, with the guns too. I think it's the Lacey Evans. I didn't see that. I had Maria Kanellis for her.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but then if I really could pick someone, it would have been Jillian Hall, who could not sing, who at some point was like an assistant. I don't think she was a makeup artist, but close enough. Yeah. But we can't do that because of the game limitations. So
we're trying to run the simulation for the audience here.
Yes.
I think clear cut Lacey Evans. I think again she has everything she needs to move forward. So I want to see. I want to see if she gets into a showmance. I want to see if it's that whole us against the world type of deal with her, or maybe she can just end up in a big alliance with a whole bunch of people. We shall see. All right, so we are at the back end here. So next we have Derrick, another Derrick. I guess he'll be going by Derrick X. Okay, so we have Derrick F and Derrick X. Like my speech impediment won't let me. So like Derrick X is another.
One of them will get a nickname, right? Like immediately.
100%.
Yeah,
we'll see.
He's from Baltimore. I don't think he's a fan at. Oh, let me just. He's friends with Bella Wang from BB23. But he references Dr. Will and Mike Boogie. I'm not sure, but what he does, he has a startup company for food influencers to send meal kits, like put their stuff and send meal kits in. So very interesting. At the very least, he likes hip hop. He's a hip hop dancer, a part of that dance. That dance alliance maybe, but he says he wants to use logical reasoning to influence people. I don't know where to go with Derrick here without more information on like a video bio here. What do you think, Grace?
Yeah, there's not a ton in here. I know he talks about he tries to make people laugh. Yeah, he's like an influencer, and he obviously like he has these meal kits, like he works with influencers. So maybe some of that can come out. Yeah, he talks about if you laugh at yourself first and everyone's just laughing with you. I could see him fitting in with people and making some headway with folks and trying to use some strategy down the line. But there's not a ton in this bio for sure.
What I would say, just to kind of like extrapolate on what's here, is he's a startup founder. He's 24, so he's young, but he's the boss. And I'm a little concerned that that's what we're going to see, where he's going to want to do things his way and be the boss. He is a super logical person. I wonder if the emotional side of things is there. I wonder how he's going to be able to connect with people. And I mean, I don't know how long he's been a startup founder, but I wonder, like, has he worked with people like as coworkers? Has he been managed in a way? I have so many questions just based on that one thing, but I don't feel great about him.
Yeah, he seems like he likes to travel a lot though too. And he's pretty jacked as well. He's pretty buff, so he might do pretty good in some of these competitions. Yeah, but I don't know how he's gonna do socially, because his bio literally tells us nothing.
Just a moment for the YouTube viewers. If anyone wants to, I felt like it was only fair.
Right. Some more eye candy. There you go.
Yes. I feel like I don't get a lot off his bio at all. He talks about he feels like when he was growing up, he fell into a typical Asian stereotype position, played piano, tennis, only ate Chinese food. So when he started growing up, he wanted to do his own thing, find his own path, which I think based on the traveling, the startup. Like he's definitely carved that space for himself. I think he's someone who will be fine. I think he'll be fine in social situations. I don't think he's gonna have a tough go of it.
Right.
I don't think if he's someone who's like, I'm gonna hide the fact that I'm a startup, I don't think that's gonna doesn't matter. I think he's gonna get sized up as someone who is not gonna be able to hide his logical side at all. He even when he talks about the Dan's funeral moment, he talks about it very much from that moment was flawless gameplay that leveraged both emotional and logical strategy.
Jesus.
Like just say it was fun. Like just say it was fun and no one's gonna judge you. But when you say that, it makes me think like you're thinking about this on another level. So if he's able to speak in a manner that doesn't give off this person's thinking 15 steps ahead, he'll be okay. But can he do that? We'll see.
And you know what's funny? Like he talks about in his bio that like he wants to build friendships that then slowly turn into alliances. And I would get the impression this guy with like that exact thing about like the Dan's funeral scene is that he's going to be like doing the like figuring out like, okay, what is my alliance? Where, you know, who would I have voting with me? I feel like where I like could see him going is like if he doesn't end up in the big alliance, he could end up like the, you know, Nicole Anthony Cliff type thing where they sort of ride with that group and then maybe he can figure out a way
weasel in there,
it's like where I could see maybe him going. But the alternative to that is that you just get like cut early on, right? If you actually don't make if you don't actually establish the alliances and you're just assuming that the friendships are alliances, I think that could be trouble. But we'll see.
True. So who do you got, Pooya?
Listen, I don't know how I got here. Maybe you can tell me how I got here. I somehow have Daniel Bryan in this spot.
Okay. That's not too bad.
I think for me, it was when hearing him, I think Grace, you mentioned something about like the technical stuff earlier. I think that's kind of where I saw with him. He's looking at everything from a logical, technically this did this, like talking about layers and layers and layers. So he's studied. Like I think Mari, you brought up that you don't know how big of a fan he is or if he is a fan. I think whoever he is, he's done his homework because he knows who Dan is. He knows who Will and Boogie are. He's watched their season at least. So he's someone who's going to take this very seriously. So to me, look no further than the man who took it so seriously that he got himself to the top in Daniel Bryan. Exactly. So potentially that's the way I could see him being.
And then his caption for his like cast reveal on his Instagram is anyone else suddenly a Big Brother super fan? So I think he got cast and then did the homework.
Right. He's like, ooh, I can get on. I'll watch everything now.
Yeah. Matt, what you over there struggling? What's going on?
No, okay. Well, I like that. Pooya, that was a great argument for him, but I went with Vince McMahon.
What?
I see big Vince McMahon energy in this man. Not necessarily the logical element, but just being the boss. Wanting to do things his own way, kind of feeling like he was outcast. I'm sure Vince McMahon, growing up as the son of a wrestling promoter, was just not like the rest of the kids. And Derrick references being one of 2 Asian kids in his graduating class in high school, which is a weird thing to compare to Vince McMahon, but I'm just going to drop it and he's the boss certainly. And I will walk away and I hope that you're all convinced.
He's a startup. He started
the startup.
Up, I guess is where you're going. I think.
Grace, sure. What is yours?
He's gonna future endeavor everybody. Like, what is this? This is.
I mean, he might. He might. I see it. I'm standing in it.
I'm not trying to. We've just been here for a minute, and I don't know if you're still with us. We're on YouTube. We have the pictures. Grace, what is your?
I like the Daniel Bryan comparison, but I do wonder if that's like a bit too like high level. Right. So then I look at like there's some guys here. There's like Chad Gable is somebody who is like could fit that mold. Roderick Strong is someone. There's one interesting thing in terms of how tactical and like analytic he could be. There is Jake the Snake Roberts in there. I don't know if there has the like evilness that Jake but like those are names I would throw out.
Makes sense. Yeah. Well, I really couldn't. I didn't have anybody for this one, so I think I like the Daniel Bryan.
I like it.
I like Daniel Bryan.
What about Titus O'Neil? Titus Brand. He's a startup guy.
Oh,
how about that?
I would go. You know what?
Wow.
What was that?
That's Titus O'Neil's catchphrase.
No, I didn't.
Right?
Okay. Just making sure. Okay.
Not at all great.
Wait,
remember when they made Titus O'Neil co-host WrestleMania with Hulk Hogan? My God.
Don't remember it at
What
all.
a fever dream that was.
Who? Never heard of him. Yeah, I think that I'll just go on. Well, the Titus O'Neil thing just threw me for a loop, but I'm gonna go with. I really like the idea of Jake Roberts, honestly.
I think I'm gonna switch to Daniel Bryan. So
I'm gonna go with Jake Roberts.
Daniel Bryan. We are going with Dan. Y'all are trying to make us stay here all night.
It's true. Longest podcast ever.
I know.
Like
we
3 more hours.
We come for the title every time we start
every
the
time.
mic up.
That's right.
Good thing we saved the brief bio for the last one.
Yes. Right, the briefest of bios. So our last, but certainly not least, Kyland. He is 29 from California.
Hold on, I think he's 29. Sorry. That's just for Pooya.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. From California. I mean, his bio, when we said some people's bios didn't tell us anything, his bio told us everything.
He has 3 life mottos.
Oh my gosh.
My gosh. Was he trying to did someone say to him your paper needs to be at least 2,000 words? Because
if I pulled up to a Burger King and Kyland's in front of me about to order, I'd be like, ugh, I'm just leaving. He can't decide what he wants to say. It's too much. It's too much.
Right. He is a movie buff, a Comic-Con nerd. He that's where he might him and Sarah might get along there. He seems very energetic. I mean, he literally wrote a dissertation here for his bio. He wants to play like Cody, Derrick, and Dan, sir. Cody, Derrick, and Dan, which I mean, again, I'm glad he seems like he's a fan. I think he might have just I would say maybe a modern season BB fan, but clearly I think he likes and enjoys the show. But he has this plan of he's going to be this like Cody, do this like Derrick, and do he has the plan. But again, I'm wondering if that plan falls apart, can you bounce back from that? And I think that's what we're going to have to see. He seems very fun. I loved his Instagram. He's very thoughtful. He's in the know on current events. He seems like he could really get along with any and everybody, especially this cast. Very jacked as well. Buff dude. I like his chances. I really do. I think unless he falls into that Rohan spot of being on the receiving end of the big alliance, and may have to fight his way and claw his way up like an underdog. But I like him. I really do. His bio is so long. Jesus, it's so long.
It's just scrolling and scrolling. Yeah, the thing that concerns me about him is that he wears a bracelet that has the word unrealistic on it. And I was like, what's that all about? And it's a story and a thing, but he hasn't taken it off for 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Being realistic is the most common traveled route to mediocrity is why he
fit an extra motto in there. My gosh.
I know. More and more mottos.
Probably a few.
That's the thing. I like everything about him. I'm rooting for him. But if his personality is what he's written down, I will be very worried. I think he's going to talk too much. I don't know. I don't think he'll know when to pull it back and stop. Maybe this person isn't someone you need to tell a strategy to, but you're gonna anyways because you can't help yourself. Also, he mentioned that popcorn is his favorite food in 4 different spots on this bio, and I was like, bruh, I get it, it's delicious, but is it 4 times on the bio delicious? It's okay. It's not that good. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, honestly. So he to me is the clear-cut Xavier Woods here. I think the nerddom, the energy, the excitement. He's a huge Black Panther fan too. I just get it, the positive personality. I love his Instagram as well. So I'm going Xavier Woods here. This is the one and only Xavier Woods.
I'll jump in because what I picked up on. So one, like in terms of the nerdiness, I was thinking a little bit about Keith Lee. I feel like Keith Lee brings a lot of that, a very cinematic energy. And so I was linking that with Kyland loving movies and being very obsessed with movies and I think Best Picture nominations. But then I was really thinking he went on for so long. I'm going to go with like 2000s Triple H. Because those promos, I don't know how I'm still a wrestling fan after sitting through like consistently 20 minutes, 25 minutes of him just on the mic to start wrestling shows for the better half of like from 2000 to 2007 or 8 or 9, probably the whole decade, right? So I guess I'll go with the game Triple H.
But I can't root for that. I didn't root for that Triple H. So, and I'm rooting for.
No,
Kyland.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
but this is what I'm calls it like I
Grace.
said.
You call it.
I really liked the Xavier Woods called. The only other I was looking at there, I was like, could he be The Rock? A talker, somebody who talks a lot. Could he be there? I think sort of. I'm not sure if he exactly has Rock qualities. The other one who was in there was like somebody who was like overwhelmingly positive energy. He's not in the WWE currently, but No Way Jose. I was like, it has a little bit of like like the like exuberance, like this Jose. Is so much coming at you. Those are what I saw. I feel like Xavier Woods is the best answer, but
Pooya.
Throw those alternatives out there.
Because I had Xavier Woods elsewhere, I didn't put Xavier Woods down. I'm going to preface that I'm picking Xavier Woods. So I think this is easy. But what I initially had down was Montez Ford, because I was like, if I'm thinking you got that charisma, you can work the mic because I can see and hear you speak it well, and not just well, sorry, a lot. So with energy, which I think is more important to note. But I honestly, again, for me, it all comes back to, I think he can be an amazing player if the videos and him off of the page is working it differently than the energy here. Because here it's just too much, a lot of talk, which to me is like, then you'd be an excellent person to get on the mic and cut a promo.
Right.
It's funny. I think that the Street Profits is an interesting example of what he could become. I feel like Montez Ford is clearly the star of that team. And so I feel like he could either be Montez Ford or he could be Angelo Dawkins.
Depending on how we go from here.
Maybe he picks somebody in here and they're the Street Profits together. But are we gonna stick with Xavier Woods?
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so we have picked our cast. All right, that was fun. This is such a great cast. Any last thoughts on the cast as a whole, Matt?
I don't know. I don't have much to go with. Like, I think that this is the thing. We went through everything. We're going to see who wins each of the battle royals. It's going to be an all-out brawl. But I'm really curious to see who these people actually are and how far off we are. I hope that we're like pretty far off with some of them just for the entertainment value.
Exactly. When you go off of this, it's always just a toss of the coin or whatever.
Yeah, just go off the order of the battle royal and who's eliminated, and that's exactly what we'll see on the season. Mark my words.
That'd be incredible.
That would be bananas.
Scary. Yeah. Grace, what do you think?
I'm excited. I think it's a really fun cast. I think I don't know who I saw say this in the Rob as a podcast group today, but they said, I'm really excited that this does not look like a typical Big Brother cast. I think that a lot of the diversity initiatives, I think, have sort of come through here. And I'm very excited to see these people get into the house and play. And I'm excited to re-listen to this in 6 months and laugh at how wrong we were. So it'll be so fun.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. Pooya, any last words? You've had a lot of words today, so I know you're like probably just tired.
I haven't noticed time go by. That's how much fun I've been having. We could do this for another 2 hours if I had any say. But I'll say I echo what both Matt and Grace have said. Honestly, I was a little bit worried when that interview came out and Alison Grodner was like, listen, we've technically had diversity before. I was like, you better not. You better not do this to me. No. The cast is amazing. I'm very invested. Like, I think there's like maybe 3 or 4 people that I'm not really vibing with. So if we lose them in first week, I'm fine. Everyone else, I'd be a little bit devastated to see go. So like, I'm gonna savor this. I'm gonna savor these interviews if they do come out at any point, and then I'm gonna savor that premiere, and we're gonna write it out. We're gonna see how it goes.
Exactly. Not more needs to be said. We've got our cast. We're just waiting for the game to start and just to see how it all plays out. But I mean, this is a good start. This looks like a good start. So if you want to see how the simulations turn out, tune into our Wrestling RHAPup podcast this week, and we'll do the simulations there. We'll also have the cast photos next to their associated wrestlers, and we'll have all that on the Wrestling RHAPup episode. We just want to thank Pooya and Grace. Pooya, plug your stuff.
Okay, you can find me on Twitter. It's at Pooyaism, on Twitch, twitch.tv/Pooya. I stream there about 3 times a week, so definitely come check me out. 90 Day Fiance still going strong. Me and Rob have been continuously covering 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, and the show's not stopping, so neither will we, and that will be delightful. And then aside from that, obviously with Big Brother coming back, I will be back for Pooya Fridays on the live feed updates and other fun things along the way.
Grace, where can the people find you?
Follow me on Twitter at Hi From Grace. You can also check out Hold Up Podcast at Hold Up Podcast on Twitter. We look at LGBTQ media from the past and see if it holds up. Watching an episode of MASH this week, so that should be fun, from 1974. I was very surprised at what we saw. So yeah, tune into that. I also do some podcasts on the currently on the post show recaps patron feed. So I just finished up a podcast with Brooklyn Zed about Pose, the final season of Pose. Matt Scott joined us for a bonus episode where he looked at the 6-part docuseries called Pride from FX, which is also very fun. So those are on the Twitch feed. It's July 1st. It's a good time to become a patron of Rob as a podcast or post show recaps. Check it out. Also did a podcast on the movie Luca, Pixar movie Luca. It's very nice. It's pretty like queer coded, which I was not expecting when I watched it. Yeah, it's very like otherism, and it's so it's worth checking out. And I did that with Felipe Shimon and Ariel Gomez, so that was a lot of fun. And last one, I promise, I was on an episode of Pilot Season, which just dropped, and I watched the other 2. I think it was a Comedy Central show that's moving to HBO Max with the great Michael J. Clark had me on. So for one of the last 4 episodes of his podcast. So I was very honored to get to do that. Yeah, that's all my stuff.
Not much at all.
Not much at all.
Not at all.
Oh, Twitch Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Twitch.tv/DM Philly. I play Dungeons and Dragons in space with the wonderful Rich Filiberto, Josh Wigler, Kirk Clark, Brooklyn Zed is on there. Lots of fun people. Go check that out.
Yeah. Oh my god, I need to get busy like you.
Oh my god, it's too much.
I'm overwhelmed right now by all the plugs. It's been a good. I think the last week it's been like, it's been the Wrestling RHAPup, but I ever since we did PSR Theater with Josh Wigler, where Josh was like, plug all of your things, I'm going to plug things. So I've mentioned the Black Voices of RHAP. I'm going to keep shouting it out because it's such a powerful conversation with folks and a lot of different perspectives shared by the Black Voices of RHAP and 17 Black podcasters as part of that. And keep hearing really great feedback based on all of that and seeing things pop up. So just so thankful for everyone who's tuning into that. If you haven't already, it's not too late. We talk a lot about the state of representation in reality TV. We talk about Big Brother. We also talk about our experiences as podcasters. So that's the big thing I want to plug. And I will also plug 20s and Change San Francisco, the film that I worked on and was recognized with the San Francisco Black Film Festival, all about social impact, interviewing people and things. If that's your thing, check that out. I'm on the Wrestling RHAPup. Don't know if you've ever heard of that podcast with the incomparable Mari Forth. And we're just grinding away and doing our thing. And, who knows, maybe we'll talk about Big Brother sometimes. Maybe we'll talk about other reality shows sometimes. But you can find me at Matt Scott GW and hit me up, especially on the Twitter. And then Grace mentioned just being part of Pride on FX on PSR. Mari, as you know, of course, we covered Ready to Rumble. I think that was last week, but it feels like much longer ago. Yeah. And so there's, a lot of different places where you could find me and what I'm up to. Mari, what do you want to plug and shout out?
So you can find me on Twitter at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2. I'm always there talking about wrestling, of course, Big Brother, obviously, and anything else. Feel free to @ me. Also, like Grace said, with that great plug, it is the 1st of the month. Make sure you subscribe to the RHAP Patreon group. Tell them that the Wrestling RHAPup sent you. You can always find the Wrestling RHAPup on anywhere you get your podcast. We're also on YouTube now. Yay. So rate, review, and subscribe. Give us those 5 stars. You can also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling RHAPup. On Twitter, you can tag us #Wrestling RHAPup so you can join the conversation. And then if you have any long form questions, you can always email us. Send your emails to wrestling@robhasawebsite.com. Other than that, we will see you guys later. Watch out for any flying elbows. Bye.